Oh, boys, we are live, and we got to get the final preparations ready, boys. The final preparations. Oh. Wait, is there some air in here left? No? Okay. Gotta open up a window. Whoa. My rifle almost fell. Wingman, dude, bring in the boigas. Oh, damn, he's throwing a burger my way. My burger now. Hello, boys. Hello, Noah. Hello, bud. Hello. Hello, boys. Hello, hello. Shamley, dude, you keep on coming. You keep on hitting the fucking dreams like you do, man. You ain't have no worry about it being broken. Wingman over here going, yay! Damn, boys. A bit chilly in here. My hands are cold. I'm tucking them under my belly. How you boys doing? How's your day? That wasn't anything. Don't worry about it. Oh, Shamley, dude. Sorry to hear that, man. I'm glad to hear that you are recovering, though, from the procedure. Then why'd I rip open my window? Because, dude, cigars, man. You gotta have a window open when you're puffing a cigar. Well, boys, the countdown has officially begun for Brandon F. to stop in tomorrow during the Civil War podcast for his segment. Oh, I don't know about you boys, but I am very, very excited. Everybody, put on your Sunday best, shave your beards, shave your upper lip. Don't shave that goatee, though. Keep them mutton chops. Because when Brandon F. is here, boys... Wingman, I'd appreciate that if you didn't tell everybody. I told you that in confidence. Set up the tables. And Shemley, I expect you to be on your best behavior, bud. Oh, General, when this stream is over, I'll make sure to go do that, man. A Q&A, nice. So, I'm surprised no one's noticed it yet. Think they will, Spike? Probably not. Probably not. They will not notice. Fuck, someone noticed. That's right, boys. Red has the Springfield. He got it to... Yeah, Shemley, I know. Bring the good old bugle, boys, and sing another song. Sing it with the spirit that will start the world along. Sing it as we used to sing it, 50,000 strong, while we were marching through Georgia. Boys, I finally got my Springfield. That's right, boys. Yes. Let's look at this. Let's look at this sexy bitch. Look at that, boys. Look at... Hold on, I gotta take a step back so y'all can get a full view of this bad boy. And I gotta clean my room tomorrow. Look at this, boys. Look at. Yes. That's right, boys. Red got his Springfield. Damn, boys. Wingman, are you here about the? Did you hear about the new hype kind of a thing that is on Red's channel? It's Jose. It's HUHOOZAY. Jose. All right, Shelly, I'm look. Okay, Shemley. Okay. I got this one. I was lucky because a friend of mine was getting rid of his. And I asked him how much he wanted for it. And he said $700. And he'll even throw in the bayonet and scabbard for free. So I was like, dude, hell yeah. Got the money together. Paid him. So, we need to think of a name for this Springfield. We're going to name it a real fighting name. As a community, this is going to be our baby. What should we name our child, boys? It's got to be a good name. Can't be nothing silly now. Yeah, Wingman, that's my, everybody, Cody has the hype, everything. Mine's Jose. Fire off a musket cap. You know what? I may get in trouble, but I'll do it. Even with the bayonet fixed. Wait, let me go make sure people are not asleep, because then I might get stabbed with my own, yeah. Mom, you sleep? All right, I can't do it in live stream just yet because if I wake my mother up, Red is dead, boys. Virginia, hello. Yeah, if I fire a musket cap off, Red will be no more. But I wonder. Wonder if my you think Jeff is a good name? I don't know. We got to get a community vote in on this. What do you boys think about Jeff? Jeff. Ooh, the volunteer. Ooh. Yeah, Red fires his Red Fang get beat, boy. Let's see. Damocles. The red steak? Or the red streak? That sounds like a women issue. Jose? General, I would, except I'm running low myself. When Cabela's and stuff opens up, I need to restock. I'll be happy to send you some. Jose? Name it Jose? The Redonian Defender. That doesn't sound too bad, does it, boys? The Redonian Defender. Yeah. The Redonian Defender defends all of Redonia. Yeah, and all my Redonians, all my boys. 4 wings. I've never seen a 3-wing musket. That would be interesting to see, though. Noah, hello, Provost. Hello, my Provost. The Liberator. I swear I saw that in Fallout, though. I can't get over doing that. It's so much fun. Would it fit in? Yeah. I don't know why it wouldn't. Most caps I've taken off Rebs fit my musket. Will fit my carbine. Shimley, the Liberator doesn't sound bad. What do you think, Noah? Oh, the Liberator. That sounds nice. Sounds really nice. Like, damn, I think that one might win it, boys. Trying to be, well, let's call it the blank. No. Now, I'm used to handling carbines, so this is a new experience for me. Which kind of gun? It is a 1862 Springfield. Good old American Springfield, boy. With adjustable rear sights, or different rear sights, I guess you could say. You got those, and those. You got 3 different sets of rear sights. The click clack. Oh, click clack. The clickety click. Oh, boys, there's so many good names. We're going to have to narrow it down to one, though. So we're going to have a real good discussion about this. How about the last flash? You see the muzzle flash. That's the last thing you see. It does, except brown bests do not have barrel rings. That they do not have. The Unifier. Widowmaker. That doesn't sound too bad, does it? Oh, the Black Widow. Come on, Noah, spit out some names. We're thinking of some names for our new musket, boys. Oh, wow, I just realized the first like has finally been put. The Rebel Eater. Oh, the Rebel Ender. The Rebellion's End. Ooh, the Rebellion's End. What y'all think about that one? The Rebellion's End. That doesn't sound too bad. Rebels Bane. There we go. Yeah, Rebel Bane. Yeah, the sharp. I'm gonna load it by pouring powder and going. I know what you're talking about, Noah. I'm a fan of the series. But Rebel's Bane. Yeah, that sounds good. Damn, yeah. What do y'all think about Rebel's Bane? That's a good one. And from Virginia, too. Interesting. Except I already have a sharp, Noah. I already have Richard Sharp. That's when I named my Sharps Richard because of that series. Rebel's Blood. Bloodletter. Man, we're thinking of so many good names, boys. Sharp's Escape. I think I might have that one. Red Bane won. All right, Wingman votes for Rebel's Bane. The Wolf's Bane. Ooh. The Rebellion Killer. Perhaps. But we still got one vote for Rebel's Bane. I've already read Sharp's Rifles though, and seen the show, which they actually kind of stuck really close to the right in the book. I have Sharp's Honor, Sharp's Fortress. I think I have to find them. I know I have a few of them. Oh, I know. Let's get like methodical. Let's name it Thanatos, Angel of Death. How about Good Night? Yeah, Good Night. Good morning, Matt. Do you see what I have here? Guess who got it? It's 1862. The Rebel Reaper. Rebel Reaper, not bad. But what do y'all think about Good Night, though? That one kind of has a nice ring to it. This is true. No, they left that part out of the show. Or after everything, the peasants were just like, oh, the English couldn't finish them off properly, so I might as well. Today was my second day back, and it sucked. I am extremely tired. But VA, hit the sack, hit the hay, do whatever you want, but as long as you lay when you sleep, man. Lay your head where you lay, have a good dreams, man. The Lincoln. The Lincolnator. The Lincolnator. Sutton, hello. You know what? One of my least favorite parts about the Sharp series was when Perkins died. That made me sad. I get up at 5:30 every day, but I don't have a punch in time, so. You are never late, Archer. How many times must I tell you this? Sutton. Hello. Dude, the Liberator is pretty good. I think the Liberator should be its title. Give it a name, and then its title is the Liberator. What do you think about that, Shamley? Clone, this is my brand new, well, new to me, 1862 Springfield. She is a beauty, isn't she? It was pretty nice, Archer. It was sucked because of the way. What do you mean? What new rifle, Archer? The one I'm holding right here. I just think the Liberator is a good title because it tells what it does. The name, it should have a name and then. Oh, can I show you, boys? Of course. Of course I am. Can. Will. Boys, here it is. Just there you go. I'm trying to get it on screen right quick. She's a big girl. There she is on screen. All right. I'm glad you watched. I bought this from a buddy for $700. He also threw in the bayonet and scabbard for free. Bongo. Bayonet. She ain't going nowhere, boys. Okay, now we need a name for the Liberator. Her title is the Liberator. Now she needs a name. She can shoot real lead, yes. She's a 58 caliber mini ball. Oh, Noah, you have no idea how badly I want a Baker rifle. You have no idea how badly I want a Baker rifle, dude. Or a knock gun. A knock gun. Dude, those things are bad. Yeah, buying a Baker rifle is not a waste of money, Noah. But yeah, to answer your question, Clone. Pepper Tech. Pepper. I was thinking about naming her Goodnight, the Liberator. Because everyone she meets goes night-night. So you gotta say goodnight. Yeah, the range on this thing, there are a lot of reenactors that even take their muskets hunting. And they shoot them live and do kill game with them. Like I've seen, reenactors go out with 62 Springfields and come back with deer. It is quite incredible. Yeah, Clone, it can. It can fire real bullets. Clone. Oh, Noah. You dirty boy. Gotta get a strap for her, though, so I can sling her on my shoulder. You know what? There's one thing I have not done yet. Let's see if she's clean, boys. Oh, did y'all hear that? Let's do it again, boys. Let's do it again. That's the sound of a clean musket. I lost another sub. Well, that's to be expected. Not everyone can handle the red life, man. She needs to have some oil run through her. Where Arby's, Archer. Arby's is where the beef is. Bongo's got his mask on. Ooh, the red light. The red light. The red light liberator. Oh, Shamley, what do you think about that? The red light liberator. That's it, boys. Say hello to the Red Light Liberator. That is who she is, boys. The Red Light Liberator. Stops all those who oppose liberty, freedom, and unity. Hell yeah, boys. Stunts, hello, my friend. It shall liberate you to the red light. Ha ha! There's only one person we're missing, boys, and we'll have the regular crew together. Where is Assassin? That's the big question, boys. That is the question. Another question. Where's Red Cigar? Answer. Right here. Jeffrey, yeah. We're missing Jeffrey, too. Damn, we're missing everybody tonight, boys. Where did I just put my cutter? There it is. The Red Light Liberator. Hell yeah, boys. Now there is one thing about the Sharp series that everybody should know is a Hollywood, fictional dream up. And that is a spitting of the bullet. You prime your pan, close the frizzen, you pour the powder, and you spit the lead bullet. And you tap it to send it down. Go to the guards and be like, what, y'all think you liberate people? Y'all don't know shit. I wonder if I can spin this thing. I doubt it, but I might try. Boys. Just might try. I saw this game where these people had a musket that was multiple fired. It was like a mod, so they were just going boom, 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 boom. And one guy had it like an LMG, like it was hanging up here. Like it was hanging up here by the gun. Don't cry over failure. Learn from your mistakes, vibes. Listen, I'll have the Red Light Liberator talk to Duolingo for you. Shanley, what kind of cool pose do you want? Cool pose? I don't know how to be cool, man. Oh, hold on. I gotta get the right position for this one. I know which one. Here in a bit. Yeah, sure, man. Alright. Hold on, I gotta get the right camera angle because this is my iconic pose at reenactments. There you go. Hold on. No, let's do it without the bayonet. Because if you get up close and personal, you're going to be tasting a sword. Maybe if I let's tilt the camera down a bit. Wait, cigar. Can't forget about the stogie. How's that, Shinley? Shinley, I want to see that picture. Archer already have, bud. Dude, long rifles are awesome. Let's not even get into talking about this bayonet. Look at this sumbitch. Look at that. Imagine that going into your gut and twisting. Because as it would stab, it's coming at you like this. Stab, and then they'd develop. So basically, I need to get like a dummy for the backyard to demonstrate this. What they would do is they would stab and then develop. So, stab, develop. So you're getting the guts all jumbled up. Something Italian. Okay. Punt gun with buckshot? No, punt gun you want to hunt geese with and ducks. Dude, hey, I'll let you know. Right now, we're actually getting a new person in the unit soon, so I'm excited for that. I said, I'll drill him in the shape. And General Couts goes, I had a feeling you might. But yeah, what I would love to do is, for reenactment's sake, get like some dummies and fill them, like some burlap dummies or some burlap bags and fill them with straw and actually have like bayonet training and such. Oh. Oh, Matt, you've stabbed the burlap bags? I'm jealous. Archer, a punt gun is basically a shotgun on steroids. They had to be shot by two people. They were, I believe, 9 foot tall. There were these massive guns that were used for taking down large amounts of birds and ducks, geese. It was a hunting gun basically. It did to geese what the buffalo rifle did to the Great Plains. That's all I'm going to say. Up, is it time? Let me see the picture. Damn, Shemley, my boy. Now those need to be taken out. Those need to be shared onto the. Post those in general, Shemley. Those are badass. I might change my profile pic. Of course, Shemley, I want you to start taking all my pictures now, boy. Yeah. Yeah, it killed many types of birds. It almost drove them to the point of extinction. What's this? Nice. Shimley, hell yeah, boy. That pose has been my a knock volley gun. Oh hell yeah. Hey ladies, look at my 11-foot gun. I don't have a tiny penis or anything, I just like big guns. Now in my case, I just like historical guns. Like I don't care if it says I'm compensating for something, if it's historical, I'm all about it. Matt, did I tell you I'm putting together a yes, Shemley, you're a Reds official photographer. I'm posing, Shemley. Like shit, if I had a punt gun, if I had the option to buy a punt gun, even if it wasn't been able to be fired, shoot, for the right price, I'd buy one. I'm not posing or anything. Actually, I think that one looked good. Shemley, we're going to have to do a private call one day in Discord, but it's just me and you. Heat the bayonet. Oh. Maybe. I don't know. A tricorn bayonet is already deadly. Hot would just cauterize the wound, wouldn't it? Cauterize, not cauterize. Cauterize. Matt, have you ever used your bayonet as a candle holder? Exactly as it sounds. Did you guys know that technically this is a sidearm? So even infantry, even privates like you, Matt, have a sidearm because a bayonet is declared a sidearm. And honestly, I didn't know how secure socket bayonets were. No, I'm not saying that. No, I've seen it all the time where people take their bayonets, stick them in the ground, and just stick like a small candle in here for helping like the pathway or blocking off roped in areas. Damn, Shemley, you doing? You doing it, son. You do it so good, man. You doing good. I did, Shemley. I just checked it, man. Shemley, you are now the official channel wall art maker. Yes. Matt, have you ever fired your you have an Enfield? No, you have a Springfield. Have you ever fired yours live? How fast can I haven't had much practice reloading one of these, but for reenactment's sake, muzzle loaders, the process to loading them is grab your cartridge, bite it, pour, cap, bring it up, half cock, cap, full cock. Some people like to let it down so the nipples on there secure, bring it all the way back, boom, fire it. But with this, I might be able to maybe get 4 shots a minute. Now going through the whole nine step, that's the tricky part. Okay. Man, I've heard different stories. I think I've heard something like that. But I've also heard people who use their reenacting muskets for hunting. So the Hall, yes, I've heard a bit. I've heard a small bit about the Hall rifle. But I will demonstrate. I will now demonstrate loading in the 9 time. 1 would be remove cartridge. 2, bite bullet. 3, pour powder. 4, press bullet. 5, remove rammer. 6, I think, is pack. 7. No, 6 is return. No, 7 is return. 8 is prime the weapon. 9 is discharge. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, especially at the beginning of the war, Archer, that's when a lot of the deserters were found who they were. By the time Gettysburg and Fredericksburg came around, well, not Fredericksburg, but Gettysburg, and later on in the war, all the deserters had 9-inch shoulder arms already. Okay. So I was close. It's been a while since I've done that. I'm used to breech loads. I know that. Isn't it funny how you know the motions, but as soon as you try to put them into effect? All right, check Discord. Red's facing cool poses. Man, Shemley, if I ever come to Texas, man, we got to get some cool poses of me in my uniform or shit. Yeah, it's rhythmic. You got to practice that until it's burning your head. What I do know is the hardest part is both packing the bullet and returning the rammer. I know that returning it isn't as hard as packing it because you don't want to have your hand anywhere near that muzzle when you're loading it because, there's still hot embers down there from your last load. So you just pack it with 2 fingers, withdraw it with 2 fingers, and you actually have it turned this way, facing, this is how it looked to you guys. Then you return rammer, which I think is fairly simple, and then you push it down with your pinky, because if you go like this, and then boom, gun goes off, you can lose your fingers. I'm guessing the ones for 200 are repos, and the 2 or 3 million probably belong to someone very famous and influential, and are originals. And those are collector's pieces. Yeah, better to lose a finger than a hand, especially if it's like an index finger, because you can replace this with your middle finger, but your thumb you can't replace. You can't fire a musket with like that. I mean, shoot, unless you like, I'm gonna try to get this all together just without using my thumb. So, you'd pull out your cartridge, then you try to pour without dropping everything, and then you reach into your cap box, which I can imagine trying to get 2 fingers in there. At times it can be challenging to get your finger and thumb in there. And then try to put the cap on with 2 fingers, whether it be, these 2 or these 2, put it on there, and then exactly, Matt, not enough room. If I was outdoors, I'd probably be doing it way better. I'm still trying to work that out. This is what sets us this appendage right here is what sets us apart from so many other creatures in this world. Because we're able to do this. We're able to do so much because of the thumb that it is taken for granted. But if you lose your thumb, you lose your ability to do almost everything else. I'm going to get some more light on Red's face. There we go. What do y'all think? Time for the void? Matt, you know what it's like trying to drill indoors, don't you? Alright, let me get my phone so I can do that. Hey, Matt, you wouldn't happen to have an extra Springfield sling, would you? Oh, Bongo, I know it's because I'm sexy. It's okay. Okay, French. Moss. Ton. D'artillerie. My phone doesn't recognize me typing in French. All right, Matt, go. Yeah, give me a call on Discord, man. Oh, that's an interesting looking. If that's the right one, no, it can't be. Breathier rifle? Is that what it's called? A clone? Archer, we know what you did in your pants, bud. Allez-vous? Comment allez-vous? Dude, the ramrod is so thick. Wait, damn, that's a cleaning rod. That's why it's gotta be thick. Or are you talking about on mine? Just a tip. Boys, it sounds like I'm getting a telephone call. Hello, comrade.
Oh, Red, how's it going?
Going good. I'm in a very good mood. Hot damn. I was over at my buddy's house one day. All right, this is the origin story of the Red Light Liberator. And he was he's the one who I bought my officer's desk from, my field officer's desk. And he goes, "Do you know anybody who wants to buy a 1862 Springfield with a bayonet and scabbard?" And of course, I looked on like CNC and Fall Creek and the Regimental Quartermaster, all those, for a musket. And I was like, "Dude, I'll take it off your hands." And he goes, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, man. How much?" He goes, 700. And I'll throw in the bayonet and the scabbard. And I was like, "Hell yeah." I was like, "I hope you don't mind. Let me see it first." And he goes, "That's no issue at all. Here, look." So I'm looking at it and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, dude. It's in really good condition." And he goes, "Yeah, it's been treated well." And I'm like, "Dude, hell yeah, I'll buy it off you for $700.
It's not a bad deal, to be honest.
No, it isn't. Hey, guess what?
What's up?
I can hear you.
Yeah, you can?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made my own headset in like 5 minutes while talking to Bongo, so.
What did you make your headset out of?
A wire I found, a pair of headphones, and a towel.
All right there, MacGyver.
Yeah. It works pretty well. It hurts my lip as all hell, but I like it.
Redonian Fascist Party flag. Shemley, I think you know where to put that, buddy. The sad part is it looks like a badass flag.
Yeah, it does.
1871 Mauser. Ooh, Mausers are always nice. I don't care what year. Although I am also a fan of the Craig Jurgensen. What do you think about that? About the Craig Jurgensen? Matt.
What's up,
Oh,
Craig Jurgensen?
it's cutting out again.
I'm sorry. Hang on, let me adjust it.
I'm just letting you know that it's cutting out. I'm gonna let you know about all the boo boo parts. The Lamat revolving rifle. I've heard of a Colt revolving rifle, never a Lamat. What is that? A revolver with a 20 gauge shotgun on the bottom? As long as a pistol, dude. My next firearm purchase is a Lamat revolver.
That sounds a bit overkill.
Hey, 9-shot. What's better than a 9-shot revolver? 9-shot with a revolver with a 20 gauge on the bottom.
Jeffrey!
Although I won't have to make up a story to get it because of those were used mainly by Confederate cav.
Yeah. You ever hear the joke about the Confederate cavalryman? He's got 3 revolvers on his saddle.
No.
Basically, that's the joke.
Speaking of Rebs and revolvers, dude, Shemley, nice. I saw this reenactment. This dude had so much leather on him. He had a shoulder harness that held 2 pistols. And then he had he had 2 more pistols on his belt. He had a coach gun. I'm like, okay, I can see 1 pistol on your hip and a coach gun if you're going for militia, but damn.
That's overkill.
Yeah, plus people were saying it's really Jeffrey's here.
Hey, you didn't hear me say Jeff?
No. Jeffrey, I got my Springfield.
You get $10.
That food loaded. Yeah. But I mean, and then people were saying that it was a really hot day. I mean, shoot, and just a wool coat, and a officer's belt. You get hot.
That sounds like an idiot. All leather?
Yeah, but I mean, granted, he didn't have a coat on, but he still had those jean wool pants. But still all that leather in the hot sun, and he was sitting there, and I'm like, dude, that leather's getting hot.
That guy sounds stupid.
I mean, he sounds like he's trying to be like the ultimate showman, like, I'm the heavy duty. Meanwhile, everybody else is looking at him like, that fucking idiot.
I reenactments. I'm that one guy who's like, I'll take off my coat anytime. I'll roll up my sleeves and I'm gonna chill.
Yeah. What's the rule about reenactors? Why stand when you can sit? Why sit when you can lay down? Why lay down when you can sleep?
Exactly.
So this guy was like, wait, reenactors don't do it like they did back in the day? I was like, okay, tell me how they did it back in the day. Well, they always had their wool on, and I was like, no, that's only what you see in the pictures, because they got dressed up for pictures because they usually sent them home and they wanted to look nice.
Yeah, you want it to be good, like a bunch of the what was it? Most of the soldiers would have the dice or the checkers or cards or anything like that, and they would always throw them out before battles because they didn't want to die in battle and then have all their stuff just left there and sent back to their family. Like, oh, our son gambled while he was away.
Yeah. Whoa, Jeff, bro, what's going on?
Come on, Jeff, you gotta guess me. Come on.
No, he said no more smelling, no more clone, no more bongo. Cat, what's going on? Psh.
Come on, Jeff, you gotta guess who it is. You know who it is.
But yeah, also I remember the video. The video was the Battle of Funkstown. And I was looking in the comments.
Battle of Funkstown. That
yeah,
doesn't ring a bell.
I never heard of it either.
It's not right. What happened?
Apparently in the comments, people were saying that at the battle, they nicknamed it the Battle of Farbstown.
Barb sound. I like it.
Because of all the farb that was happening. And judging by the leather man, fucking farb. No soldier would care. That's why that's why a lot of soldiers disregarded their knapsacks and just stuck with a bedroll. It was lighter.
I do like the bedroll. It's very nice. However, it does kind of build up a little bit of heat. And if you want to get something, you got to unroll the whole thing, take it out, roll it back up.
True, but that's what haversacks are for.
Yeah, I got my CNC tarred black one. That's nice.
Dude, I'm trying to track down a officer's haversack.
A bunch of the guys I reenact with, they're always trying to find like interesting stuff like that, like an officer's haversack. My one captain, he'll look for like days and days and days, and he's like, "I like this. Let's go for this." And I'm like, "You just spent 4 weeks looking for a pair of shoelaces."
I have these leather strips here that you could have used.
I have a bunch of those, and he's like, "No, I don't want to."
Iron, hey buddy, how you doing?
I don't know.
Dude, we're 1 for 1 on the likes, boys. You got that 1-to-1 ratio. I like that.
Like the stream, bro. Else I'm gonna kill y'all.
That escalated quickly. Iron, this is a 1862 Springfield. Can't get much more American than that.
Oh my, Jeff, it's me, Matt. Come on, man.
It's Matt, boys. Oh, I saw it, man.
It's Archer. Hell yeah.
Archer. Yes. Dude, I swear though, when the general was over here dropping this off, dude grabbed my nipple like 4 times. I kicked him so many times.
You sound like you have a bunch of interesting people you work with. That Cots guy, he sounds cool.
Oh, Celts? Oh, hell yeah, he is. He's one of the few people would...
You know, the thing is, the organization I'm with, my colonel and my general have like a feud that's going on, and they just like all hate each other, and it just like dissolved into such like negativity and anger. And what happened was we're like, okay, fuck you, goodbye. We have our own organization going. We have money, and we can act autonomous from you. So this can go many ways, and we went the way of bye bye.
Damn. Jeffrey, oh shit, my tri-state buddy, my bad.
I don't know how to type anime noise, LOL, Archer, that's just weird.
Archer, you're too old. Lel.
Oh, Archer, he's not that old.
Well, I mean, people think you're in your 30s, so.
Why does everyone think I'm old? Bongo thinks I'm like a dying geezer or something.
It's okay, man. Just die. Just die in peace, man. Here, Matt. I'll do it for you, bud. Hold on. Let me just.
If I want to die, I'm gonna go out the New Jersey way. I'm gonna go up to like a nuclear reactor, and I'm just gonna step in the water around the place. All right.
Just dive and just. Like, hey y'all, look, I'm gonna go for the world record of nuclear water drank.
I'll do that. That's easiest. Or I'll go into New York City and I'll walk into like one of those rat hunter dens.
Oh, show me that ramrod. Oh, they want to see the ramrod. Look at that ramrod.
Pump your own fuel, Jeffrey. You don't trust the own people in New Jersey. Oh my God.
Ramrod. You pump your own fuel. Hey, that used to be the standard though. All right, Jeffrey, you want to let me show off the old 1862? Nice and shiny. Yes, it is. I'll even put on the bayonet for you, Jeff. Just because that's always fun. You ever do that? You ever just sit there and just play with the bayonet?
Of course.
I mean, you got to get efficient with it, right?
See, the thing is, with my bayonet, I just use it as a back scratcher.
Dude, that bayonet is fucking... You know what I want to get? I want to get a trowel bayonet.
That's more post-Civil War, but it's nice. I like the idea of it.
Oh, yeah. One thing that worries me is that they used them to dig with, and there's even reports of that. The digging part isn't what worries me. There was reports of soldiers attaching them to their rifles and digging.
That sounds a little weird.
That sounds, in my opinion, that sounds stupid because if, let's say you get dirt clogged up in there.
Yeah,
And
you could fuck up the muzzle. I noticed on any of the Springfields actually, there is actually a like a what's it called? Like rounded edge. If it's not there, the bullet won't actually be able to travel out of it at the proper velocity to escape, and it basically becomes a pipe bomb.
Oh, perfect marshmallow roaster. It is.
It's like so minuscule. My sergeant, he actually sawed off about an inch on the end of the rifle, and it kind of he said he tried it with a live action round. He said the round barely got out of the barrel.
Damn.
It's kind of like a Civil War muzzle brake.
Shit.
I don't know if it's true. I doubt he cut off like an inch. I'm pretty sure, knowing my sergeant, he probably sawed it in half.
Just the whole thing, just turn it into a carbine.
I actually reenacted with the guy. What he did was he took a 64 Springfield, he sawed it off up until the third band, and he called it his trench raider.
Fair enough. Did he just carry around the barrel with it? Just
He used it in a reenactment. It was kind of cool.
Oh, wait, whose birthday is it? Iron! Happy birthday, bud!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Bongo, what the hell? I'm about to turn to dust? Damn it, boy.
Matt, you know what, though? For you being as old as Bongo says, you sound amazing.
Only 18.
You have really let yourself go if you're about to turn to dust when you're 18.
Why?
You know what? There is this one group in Ohio who they portray the Cherokee Braves of the Confederacy.
Okay.
Their so-called leader hit my corporal in the balls with a tomahawk.
Okay.
The way it happened was, it was during a fight, and this guy is known for his final stand being a tomahawk charge.
Okay.
There have been literal regiments unloading pistols into him, and he will wait until he's about 20 yards away to finally fall.
Okay.
And when he fell, his tomahawk comes down and just cracks my corporal in the balls. He gets up, doesn't apologize or nothing. He just goes, "Those things happen," and walks off.
Oh, I got one for you. There's this one guy. He's not officially part of our organization. He looks like the exact spitting image of Lincoln. He comes to events once in a while. And what we did was we did a Lincoln getting shot in his booth thing, but more outside. And what happened was we had a guy who played John Wilkes Booth. One of the guys I reenact with played the major who sat with him in the box.
Right.
And what had happened was the guy who was playing John Wilkes Booth did not tell the guy who was playing the major he had an actual sharp knife. It was like a dagger, very sharp. So they pretended to shoot him. Lincoln fell to the floor. The guy who's playing the major gets up. He's like, "No." He's just kind of like, "Ha, this is all shit. Ha 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 ha." He tries to go in for a knife stab. Of course, he grabs him up in the air, and then he goes down. He puts the knife right to his hand, and he ends up in the hospital.
Damn.
He goes to the hospital with his Zouave, and they're just sitting there waiting with his hand packed off. And what had happened was there's a guy dressed as a major, a guy dressed as a Zouave, and they're just waiting for the doctor. He's like, "This sucks. What a fucking idiot. Why would you do this?" And then the doctor comes in. He's like, "What are you two?" And the one guy just I was like, "Oh, it's okay. We were just having some fun and we had an accident." It was great. It was great.
Yeah, great.
He got a knife in his hand, but a ton of memories.
Yeah. One of the biggest oofs I have ever heard of was, Cav sabers aren't sharp.
They are not.
For both, safety reasons and historical reasons. There was
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one guy who sharpened a 1860 windlass. No,
Okay, sounds like an idiot already.
that nice 1095 carbon steel. He had it sharpened, and they were going into a cav charge. You know, calves out there doing their things. Everybody's hitting twice, moving on, and all that. Well, he
Okay.
sharpened his, so when the first initial hit happened, his comes back, cracks him across the face, splits him open.
Ow, that hurts.
Yeah, he got several stitches, and the first thing someone walked up, like the commander, I think he was new to this unit, if I remember correctly. The first thing his commander does is walks over to him, bandages him up, and looks at him and goes, "You fucking idiot."
Supposed to sharpen it in the first place. Oh my god, that's so stupid.
I mean, it's in a metal sheath, for crying out loud. They're obviously not meant to be sharp.
That's so stupid. I'm not. If you have a pocket knife on you when I'm reenacting, my organization would literally take you to court, and they'll be like, "Yeah, have fun in 3 years, eventually coming back."
Like the only time I don't have a pocket knife in my pocket is when we're on the field.
I keep it in my tent usually, and I'm like, I need butter or an apple. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
After that, nothing else.
I mean, in my haversack, I usually have a knife, but that is like tucked down under several rags, and the only reason it's out there is in case of emergency. Someone gets hung up on something and it needs to be cut. That is the
I
only
do remember
time.
one reenactment in Pennsylvania I went to. They made us like go through like a thorn patch, and it sucked because we were like, "Oh, just go through it, go through it." And fortunately enough, my sergeant, who's about 60 years old, decides to have a heart attack right on the field, and he pushed through the whole thing. He was fine. He got back to the thing. He's like, "Okay, get me to a hospital. I'm going to die in 10 minutes."
I'm sorry to laugh, but damn.
He is probably one of the toughest son of a bitches I've ever seen in my life. Like
now did he?
He'll go down swinging in hell before you kill him.
Now did he like say it like, "Okay, boys, get me to the hospital," or was he just calm and mellow about it?
He was very calm. I was like, "Yeah, I think I should go to the hospital." Like I saw him in the field. He was like panting. He's kneeling over, and I'm like, "Yeah, right there." And he's like, "Having a heart attack, I think." I'm like, "Okay, can we get you out of here?" He's like, No, I'm fine. And then the next thing you know, after the end, we get back to camp. He's like, "All right, time for the hospital." Next thing, and the thing is too, he's a diabetic, he's going through the whole thing. He's tough as hell.
Me too. There's been times like I think I've been going low or something out on the field, and so I'll be sitting there like everybody else will be lined up, and I'll just stand up. It's so funny, we'll all be lined up, ready to fire, and I'll just stand up and walk off and sit down next to a. And sit down next to on leaning up against a building or a tree or something. They'll be like, "What's wrong?" I'll be like, "I'm just wanting some sugar. I'll be right back out there." They go, "Yo, someone stay with you?" Be like, "Nah, I'm fine. I'm fine." And then they're usually like, "Hey, go someone," because a lot of paramedics and first responders are reenactors. So always someone sitting next to me, and I just feel so guilty because I'm like, I don't want to keep you here on account of my condition.
Hey, the way my organization does it is like if you have diabetes or something like that, they'll be like, keep coconut water, a V8, or even like club soda, and maybe like a light snack that has a good amount of sugar in it. And they'll say, sit down 10, 20 minutes. If you feel better, you go back out. If you don't feel better, stay there. You'll be fine.
Oh, I'm going to show you what I usually carry out in my chest pocket during reenactments. This is my emergency diabetic kit.
Family, I have heard your voice.
This is my emergency diabetic kit, and it always stays in my breast pocket of my coat. And it has glucose tabs and liquid glucose, which is basically the easiest thing for me to do is drink the liquid glucose if I'm going down real hard.
Yeah, okay.
And I tell everybody, and Irish, he's a good buddy of mine. He's really taken me under his wing when it comes to a lot of stuff, and he's funny because Iron, I'll give you tips as soon as this story's over. And he has a sole of a shoe around his neck, and he goes, "Boys, don't worry, I'm a good commander because I have a soul." And I just go, "It's pretty black."
He goes, that's clever. That's clever.
I go, "That's a pretty black soul." He goes, "It's a soul nonetheless." No, Iron, you're fine, bud. You're fine. Let's see. Tips for reenacting. Always try to be useful. You know, if someone's setting up their tent or breaking it down, run over there and be like, hey, do you need some help? Or something. And just always be helpful. Always listen in on stories, especially if it's something someone messed up or something. Always listen in on those and try to refrain from doing those again. Accidents are always going to happen. I mean, I'm almost blown a hole inside of a roof once because my shirt sleeve got stuck on my trigger.
If I could add something there too, Red.
Have that, you're a reenactor.
Don't be afraid of like what people will say or do. Just be like, it's cool. Let me tell you something here. The first like 3 years I started reenacting, everyone picked on me. But the thing was though, I learned towards the end they weren't doing it to make fun of me. They were doing it more because they're my second family. They care about me. Like literally, this one guy I reenacted with, so power went out in New Jersey, and he was like, I talked to him, and he was like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm doing okay. We've been without power for a couple of days, and gas is hard to get. He lives out in like Pennsylvania. He's like, oh really? I can meet you in Scranton, real close between New Jersey and Pennsylvania, about 30 minutes, like 8 gallons of gasoline if you want it. I'm like, oh hell yeah, sure, thanks, man.
Oh yeah.
So honestly, don't be afraid. Have fun.
No.
Just do you. It's a lot of fun. I'm not going to kid you. I've never had so much fun running around smelling like a goat and with gunpowder in my life.
You will never have enough. You will never have more fun getting smelly and dirty in your life.
My sergeant has a policy. He says if you don't smell like smoke by the end of the weekend, you didn't have fun.
Mm-hmm. If you don't go home and you're sitting there and you have to, and you're really having trouble deciding whether to lay down or take a shower, you did not
lay down.
Yeah, you did not have a good reenactment if your immediate choice is go to the shower, because you're immediately wanting to go home, look at your bed. It's the most amazing thing you've ever seen. And you just flop in it and you're just, this is my next life for the next 3 days.
But I can't even do that. I mean, on reenactments, I probably sleep 4 hours because I'm like, I just want to keep going.
Yeah. And honestly, get yourself like a good tent, because one, good to hide your personal items.
Definitely.
2, there's nothing like sleeping outside. It is, especially when it starts raining, you get that little pitter patter on the outside of your tent. Oh, that is amazing.
I will say the only time I hate sleeping out in tents is when I do an event at the place where the telegraph was invented, near where I live. The town every single Saturday and Sunday morning has to street clean the streets, and it sounds like a vacuum with nails in it. It's so goddamn loud. I'm like, it's 4 in the goddamn morning. Why are you doing this? That's the only time I hate it.
To add on to what Matt said about reenactors being a second family, when you join a reenacting group, a reenacting unit, group, committee, whatever you want to call it, there will be no one who will ever rise to your defense or to have your back faster than those people will.
For sure, definitely.
I mean, if someone comes over talking smack and you look around, you'll notice all your buddies either, getting closer to, let's say, a rifle or something. Just in case shit happens, they're getting closer and closer, and they're just waiting to protect you in a heartbeat.
Definitely, especially like the younger members who people will try to pin. There's like a bunch of older members who'll be like, you want to fuck with them, you can fuck with me too, and you can also fuck with everyone else here. And half the people I reenact with are public officials, cops, and firefighters. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, one of my first events, this dude came over and started trying to mess with me, trying to put me in my place. Of course, I was 13 at the time, so puberty was just hitting. Confidence went at the all-time high, like it is now. Where I'm like, hey, you want to fuck with me? Let's go right now. And immediately, my lieutenant walks over, and he pulls out his knife and a sharpening stone, and just starts going, shh, shh. What's going on, fellas? And the guys go, no, what's going on with you? And then our sergeant walks over with a tomahawk, and he's like, my sergeant goes, nothing. What you doing with our friend here? And they're like, I'll just give him some advice. And my lieutenant goes, sounds like you're trying to fuck with him. How about you fuck with someone who's been in the hobby for a while? And I'm just like, you guys are fucking awesome. And I stood up and I was like, and that gave that little bit boost of confidence. I was like, these people have my back, so let's go.
Yeah. I've seen that. I haven't run into something that bad, but it's more like people they'll try to like what some people try to do. They try to bait you into like slavery arguments or something like that, or causations or something stupid or other.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like my simple thing is don't get into it. Go around it. Talk about other stuff. Sometimes they'll try to pin you, and I even had to do it to younger people too. I'm like, so causes of the war. Do you want to find the cause of why I'm going to hit you in a second?
Yeah, and if and one in my experiences, one of the best ways to come at those people who want to try to pin you into slavery, build up on your history on the subjects of slavery, and then you will pin them into then you will reverse pin them into a corner to where
yeah, exactly,
to where they're like and then that's when you just look at them and go, what? You just going to stand there and say, or are you trying to have an actual conversation?
Exactly. I personally, because my organization asked to, I try to avoid it at all costs. The easiest way we like to go about it, though, is the American Battlefield Trust, the way they describe it. Slavery is technically not the direct cause of it. It was more the fact of Southern secessionism after the federal seizure of property in South Carolina and the eventual dissolution of everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Then another thing I ran into too is it a war of northern aggression or is it a war of reunification through it? And it's like, well, it could be seen as either way because Lincoln refused to recognize a country that split off from his, but did not try to do it diplomatically altogether. Tried to fight it out is the best way I kind of say it. I honestly like to change minds once in a while and just be like, look at it from different perspectives. Because honestly, I don't see one side. I see multiple perspectives. No one is bad. There's just a different perspective. It could be good or bad.
Yeah, that's one thing you got to do. You got to look at it from both viewpoints. With the Union, it was. Some people were fighting to preserve the Union. Others were already lifetime soldiers, were career soldiers, and that's that. And then that's when you're looking at. There's so many viewpoints from the Union. There's also some from the southern states. Like the Union invaded. They're trying to take away our rights. They're trying to tell us how to live. And whereas the Union sees it as, the rebellion, they're trying to break our country in half. There's so many different viewpoints, but what it comes down to is what each person is fighting for. Yeah, you signed up to serve with the Union, or you served to sign up to represent the Confederate Army, but when it comes down to it, your reasons for fighting are yours alone. Whether it be like you said, people bring up the subject of slavery, whether it was to free the slaves, keep the idea of slavery alive, or whatever the reason of it. When it comes down to it, is what your reason is for fighting the war.
Yeah, I mean, another thing too that comes up a lot is that about 3 to 5% of the South was the slaveholders, and it was a large holding of it, but the thing was, the people like it was slavery. So you're saying 5% of the South convinced 9 million people to rise up in armed rebellion against the North.
Yeah. But I mean, then one of my favorite things to point out is when someone brings up the thing of slavery. Let them go, you realize that slavery was about to die down by itself. And they look at me puzzled.
It was, because the problem was that diplomatic relations at the time were kind of forcing it more out, because from the start of the 1800s to up until the Civil War, it went from 70,000 to 4 million. However, at the time, it was not really economically feasible at the point for just to have free traded slave labor, because you could try to force them to work, or you can pay them, and a living wage can also help a little bit more, which is more what the South was leaning towards at the time. Everything kind of fell apart from there.
Bongo, that's a good question. Bongo asks, was the Federal Army pretty much the same thing as the Union Army, just different things to call them, or was one more of just a certain faction or deployment, or what was the difference? The original name for the Union Army was the Federal Army, the Federal Army of the United States. Then when the secession of the South happened, that's when it became the Union Army, basically the Army of the United States. They were still referred to as Federals. Mainly the career men were referred to as Federals because that's what they were before the Civil War happened. They were Federal soldiers.
Yeah, they were the original 70 to 90,000 troops who Lincoln only needed for about 90 days, but extended it up to about 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, Federals, Union, Lincolnites, Yanks, technically all the same, basically.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Yeah, and Yanks was just a term used by the South for just Northerners in general. It doesn't matter if you were a soldier or a civilian. If you were from the North, you're a Yankee. Same thing with the British because of the distance, and technically, the U.S. is up north from the U.K. If I'm thinking, I was never real good at geology.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, so
and Bongo, yes.
Yeah, Bongo. They were basically the same thing, just a different breed of the same army. Why does everyone blame the South for having slaves at one point in time? Every other nation on Earth had slaves, so why are we not mad? Ooh, another good question, Shemley. The South didn't have as many slaves as portrayed. If any history book you read, it was like the South. It seemed like they make it seem like every human being in the South had this huge ass plantation, this huge ass cotton field. When it comes down to it, the definition of a plantation, you needed to own a certain number of slaves. I think it was like 50 slaves or so.
Yeah, about.
And to maintain that number of slaves, you have to feed them a lot more. You have a lot more mouths to feed, along with your own family, which at the time large families were needed. So you had to be.
Also, your disposable income is also much lower, so you're really not making a whole lot.
Yeah, so you had to be the richest of the rich. When in reality, if a Southerner owned a slave, it was more likely one or two slaves, and they were used more as servants.
Yeah, yeah.
The way that history books portray the South is that they always beat the slaves if they didn't do anything like that. They beat them for fun, which I'm sure throughout history there were people like that. Not just in the South, there were people like that all over the U.S. And
yeah, there's stories like that, yeah.
Yeah, but when it comes down to it, there's only a handful of documented stories like that, and you can't really base those on truth because if you ever notice that it was like, well, the book I read said he heard this story about this guy, and I could make up a story right now about something like that. About, oh yeah, I knew this guy. He had like 50 slaves. He beat them daily. And in that time, you would take that as what it is. Like, oh well, this guy said it. Well, let me spread this around. Then it spreads around like a cold. It spreads around like a cold, and that's how you get those stories.
The one thing I have noticed is I've looked at a bunch of history textbooks, like the ones in my school and the ones that my brothers have used, and I've noticed certain sections. You look at colonial era, Revolutionary War, War of 1812, Civil War, World War I, World War II. Every single one of them, Civil War is always the shortest section in all of the books.
Yeah.
And usually the arguments are very one-sided compared to the other ones. They're very one-sided. It focuses on one side. South was more on slavery. They wanted this. They beat them, and they did awful things to every single one of them. And it's like these are recent too. I've seen books as recent as like 2-3 years ago that have this in it.
Ooh, okay, Matt and Red. Personal opinions: General Wadsworth or General Armistead? General Armistead was. He was a badass. He was a smart man.
He was.
He was also a very, in a way, broken man. Especially
that is true, yeah.
Especially at the Battle of Gettysburg, because the movie Gettysburg actually hinted at this very well. General Reynolds, General Hancock, and General Armistead all came up in the war. What was it? The Span Am War.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all came up through the ranks together, so they all had a brotherly bond of fighting and bleeding next to each other. So let alone General Armistead, right before he arrived at Gettysburg, getting the news that his friend General Reynolds had just been killed, and now
Yeah.
fighting, and now realizing he's fighting against his other brother, General Hancock. So he was a very distraught man at Gettysburg, but he's also a very sound leader. He inspired his troops just by standing still in, amongst a hail of fire. It seemed like he was always so calm, no matter what the situation was. He was a battle hardened man, and his troops looked up to him for inspiration, just as all soldiers did with their commanding officers. If you have a commanding officer that flinches at every gunshot, you're going to be like, what the hell? How am I going to expect this guy to keep his cool in the heat of battle? But then you get someone
I
like
mean,
General Armistead, who
you go right.
which a cannonball lands next to him, and he's like, okay, that one wasn't mine. What's next?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the thing was that both of them had their own weaknesses, but as a thing, though, they were both very distinguished, very well trained, battle hardened. So to be honest, both of them were really good. I think.
Yeah, both of them were very strong generals. Both of them.
I feel like
Go ahead.
Armistead, though, might have been a little bit more vulnerable and was kind of wishing things could have gone back to the way they used to be.
Oh yeah,
But he was still a very tough guy.
yeah. He was able to hide his emotions, like basically pack them on ice, to the point where it seemed like he had no emotions at all. Like his mind, he was dead set on victory.
He was, yeah.
Which many of the technically back to Bongo's question, technically he was a federal because for the longest time he was a career man in the United States Army.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, honestly, I look at a lot of the generals from the Civil War. I don't really see them like which one was better, which one had this over that. I kind of see them more as they did this for these reasons. They had some weaknesses. They overcame them, though.
Yeah.
They all lived, they fought, and they died.
Yeah.
That's what I see. I like, you compare Lee to Grant, there's a million differences, but to be honest, they're basically the same. Almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
I mean, every general has his own command style, and people say like, "Oh, not Hancock, McClellan was a bad general." No, he was a very cautious general. That's who McClellan was. He was a brilliant tactician, but he couldn't stand to give the order to get men killed.
He couldn't. No, the Army of the Potomac, the way it was run for a while was kind of iffy. McClellan's like, I don't think we have enough. Burnside's like, I kind of just don't want to. Butler's like, I have more than enough men. Let's go attack. And Pope's like, I need 8 times the amount of men. So
yeah,
it's like, what the hell are you doing? Then you get Beatty's like, all right, let's attack the Federals, and then let's just not pursue them to Virginia, Maryland, around that area. But
yeah.
I mean, that could have gone many different ways. But still, it's like every single person has his own style, and I think more importantly is the morale of the troops compared to what will get done. Because if the morale of the troops sucks, then things aren't going to happen.
Yeah, if you have troops that are thinking, what's the point of fighting for the South anymore? If all our commanders do is just march us into musket fire. Same with the North. If all our commanders are going to do is just march us into gunfire, what's the point of fighting? They're basically just killing us for no reason. There's not going to be an outcome like this. There's not going to be an outcome to where we come out on top because we're all going to be dead by the time the war is over.
Exactly, yeah.
But if you have a sound tactician and a good leader who inspires the men, then their morale is going to stay high and they're going to want to keep on fighting.
Exactly.
Let's see, more questions. Many people said that Texas and other states were once part of Mexico and that the U.S. stole them, and that they were stolen lands and that the U.S. doesn't deserve them. Texas and California, I know. Parts of Texas, I know were. I don't know about all of Texas, but I know California was originally a state of Mexico, and the U.S. actually bought that under agreement.
Yeah, the Texas was more of debate. they kind of used the Alamo to their advantage and declared their own country. And when Polk tried to annex it, he didn't want to cause a problem and just basically said, "Let's go to war with Mexico. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get some stuff in the end."
Yeah.
So basically, you acquire California, you buy a majority of New Mexico and Arizona, and then finally purchase the last areas towards the border for $30 million plus forgiving all debts.
Yeah.
It's kind of more like he went to war for the sake of acquiring more land, but kind of wasn't necessary. It probably could have been solved more diplomatically, or maybe even with less bloodshed, but still, it's kind of iffy.
One of the big questions I get bugged about most is one of the obvious questions, and it's why didn't the North just accept the South as its own country? You got to
Do you
look at
want to
it.
accept the country who broke away and is possibly threatening you?
Yeah, you got to look at it from an 1860s viewpoint. Let's say you're living in, let's go with Kentucky, just for example. And no, that's not Kentucky. I want to use a pretty well renowned state that was. I'm not saying Kentucky's not renowned, but
Kentucky is.
let's just say you're in a northern state, and then
Okay.
all of a sudden, you got these guys down south that they're like, well, we're not going to support the union anymore. We're not going to provide anything for it anymore. We're going to go do our own thing. That's affecting you directly for the fact that they're cutting off supplies for you and your family. It may not be hitting you now, but down the line it will. Just like we're seeing today with the pandemic about the trouble finding meats in stores and such and stuff like that. It is affecting you long term. And that's how they saw it. They saw it as, okay, this is going to hurt us in the long run. We better bite it off now.
I mean, another thing you got to think about too is they're like, why didn't the troops at the time, battle it out and leave it as be? Well, you got to think about only about 15,000 troops in total. A majority of it infantry and a majority of it sitting on the western borders with unknown territories and Native Americans, basically blazing away at each other. And do you think 8,000 men could patrol all of the South to keep it quelled under rebellion? I don't think so.
Yeah, your men are going to get picked off by street gangs of the time, left and right, and no one's going to know what's happening. All of a sudden, those 8,000 men turn into 4,000, and then those 4,000 to 2,000, and then those final 2,000 just desert and hide.
Exactly, yeah. And not to mention whatever militias could probably muster at the time could probably get thrown in there, but that would be kind of negligible. So it would kind of just have devolved also more into like a guerrilla warfare style thing with basically people who may or may not know how to run the war.
Yeah. The Civil War is a very complicated subject. Just like you said, like in the history books, it's always the smallest section. And that's because of the fact that anytime you read in like a school history book about the Civil War, it's always the North fought to end slavery, the South wanted to end slavery, Lee led the South, Grant led this part of the North, and Hancock led this part of the North, and for a while Meade ran this part of the North. And that's all you really hear about. Lincoln was the president of the U.S. Jefferson Davis was the president of the Confederacy. That's all the history you need to know. Oh yeah, we're forgetting the Battle of Gettysburg. That's about it. What started the war? Slavery. And that's all they teach you.
I feel like people, what they like to do, and what I definitely would consider is the biggest problem today with people and our education system is misinformation. People are fed one side of the story, and they're told, keep with it, keep with it, keep with it, keep with it.
Mm-hmm.
Until eventually it sticks so well that you won't be able to listen to any other side of the story. And then it's like, well, I'm trying to talk at you with reason. All you're doing is deny, 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 deny. And I personally, I admit I used to be like that a little bit up until I was like 13 or 14. I was like, let's listen, let's see, and let's kind of make an opinion based off of what I've heard. And I've kind of seen now, like, I used to think too, the Civil War was kind of based on slavery, but I was like, it kind of doesn't make sense, to be honest. I feel like that was more the end cause of it.
Yeah, the Civil War, you can argue, wasn't about slavery until Lincoln signed the Emancipation.
Yeah.
then you can argue that's when the Civil War truly became about slavery. Even then, I mean, how many, it numbers in the tens of thousands Unions deserted to the north, to the South, because they didn't sign up to fight for slaves. They signed up. They signed up, to preserve the Union, to make the country whole again.
A majority of the stuff I've read through, about like one out of like every eight, I would say, were like, they were an abolitionist. They wanted to end slavery. The rest were like, well, it seems like an adventure. I want to reunite my country. I want to see if I can make money off this. I don't want any part of it at all. That was a big thing with New Jersey too. Is that the eastern part of the state? A lot of people were like, I don't like this. I really, really don't like this. I want to end this war as fast as I can because I just don't agree with it. Or some would say, I want this war to keep going on. I'm making a hell of a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to think about. And another thing, too, New Jersey was the very last northern state in the Union to ban slavery. 1848 was the very latest they did. And at the time of the Civil War, up until about actually 1869, there were still 6 registered slaves within the state. And people are like, well, what happened? I tell people that, like, wait, what happened? What I thought the Fifth Amendment, the 13th Amendment cleared that up. And I say, well, unfortunately, it turns out there are a lot of clauses when it comes to that. And it turns out they were grandfathered in because they were born after a certain date, they were bought at a certain time, and they were bought for a certain amount.
Yeah.
And the thing is that New Jersey, too, even tried to draft an article of secessionism at the start of the Civil War. They tried, and they were one vote short of actually seceding. However, it would have sent it into more of a military state type thing, with people working around the clock and people being sent to the front of the militias, which is very interesting to think because New Jersey is a very built-up state. It has a high population of troops and people. So it's like even the North was still kind of, its loyalties were questionable at the time. Like people say, oh, the South was racist. Well, it turns out the North was just as, if not even more racist than the South.
Oh yeah, if you look at it, the North was, in my opinion, more racist than the South was. And one of the biggest pieces of evidence for that is the South had integrated troops, which means black soldiers fighting alongside white soldiers, whereas the Union was like, yeah, we the darkies want to fight, they can have their own thing. We'll just use them for labor. Tell them they're going to fight, get the same amount of money as a white person. They'll all come enlisting, and we'll have a whole lot more laborers for their own little thing.
That's one thing I always found surprising, is that you look at it, the South, when they decided to allow the slaves to fight, is that right off the bat, they were integrated, and they were also paid the same as their co-parts, which is about, at that time, about $15, which is Confederate money. It's useless. The Union, however, they would not integrate, and they also paid them about $2 to $3 less. The standard Union soldier at that time would make about $14, and a slave would make about $11.
Yeah. Like I said, when they first signed up, they were told, hey, you're going to get just as good as gear as as the white folks over there, as the white soldiers. You're going to get just as much pay. You're going to see just as much action. You're going to fight for what you believe in, man. You're going to be able to change the world. Then you sign up. You're expecting, man, I'm going to write history. I'm going to help set this nation on the course that'll keep it amazing. And next thing you know, you're digging trenches. Yes, yeah. No, it was. It wasn't glory.
It's hard to think about that because that's another thing. It's a one-sided thing, and you're told. I didn't know about that until actually about 3 or 4 years after I started reenacting, because that's what they told us in school, was that the North only did integration, the South never did it.
Yeah.
But it's the one thing I hate is, like, you're not informing, you're not giving them the full details. At reenactments, I personally, me and my other reenacting friends that I do it with, were like, we want to take the time. We even try to push questions on the people to see if they'll know them, but not in like a rude way. We'll try to just see, like, do you know this? Do you know that? Did you know this? And sometimes they come back asking more and more and more. So it's like, I try to fix that, which is one of the reasons why I want to start a YouTube channel as well. I want to correct that, fix that, do something like that, because that's what I personally believe, and I do believe we can make a difference somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. That's one of the reasons I started this channel, and I know I've kind of lost track of that when on the off season reenacting, with just like random ass vlogs and shit. But I'm trying to that was just the structure to get the channel built, and I'm working on it right now to get the proper stuff to pay those troops the tribute that they deserve. Because right now, with the quality of videos I'm putting out right now, doesn't give those men the respect that they deserve.
I mean, for one, I love your videos. I think they're great.
Thank you, man.
But there is definitely a tribute to all of them that should be there, I think.
Yeah, that's one reason we reenactors do what we do. We don't want to let those men know that they have forgotten for what they did. We want them to live on through us. They should be immortalized in song and story to the fact
Actually,
of almost to legends.
If I could point to the one comment here from Smelly, do you think the Confederate statue should be destroyed? Me personally, no, we can't suppress history, and if we do, we are bound to repeat what we need in a way to remember all sides of the war and not just the victories. If I could push off on that.
Go ahead.
Personally, I don't. When you look at those statues, I do not believe they are racist. I mean, some like Nathan Bedford Forrest, that could be determined to be racist or not. However, some of them, like Robert E. Lee or Stonewall Jackson or Longstreet, it's like I don't really see the racism behind it. I mean, how would you feel if you fought for your state or country? If you want to consider the Confederacy an actual country, I don't know what you really want to do, but it's like it's a good way to honor it in a way, because it's something we really shouldn't forget because it was important. I feel like it's also a perspective thing too. If you see one side of it, how do you know what the other side is? You don't know the true story.
Yeah.
Sorry if I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. That was a great thing. Yeah, I don't think Confederate statues should be taken down. Like you said, like a statue of Robert E. Lee, I see a man who decided how do I put this? He
It's
was
hard to put, right?
He was torn between two loves. His love for for his military career, the men he fought beside, the men he's bled with, killed with, and his home. When it comes to being torn between that, it's a very tough choice to make. And when
it is, yeah.
when Lee chose his home, he knew right there that what he was doing could easily be led to his death. He knew the risks he was going to take. He knew, I may walk onto a battlefield one day and get, hit by canister shot or shot by a musket. And he was ready to make that sacrifice. That was a brave thing he did to fight for what he believes was right.
I mean, the one thing I always like to tell people,
you're buzzing.
Flag. When I look at the supposed Confederate flag, what they think it is they're like, oh, it's a racism symbol, it's all that. Well, first things first, I like to say, number one, that is the Confederate Naval Jack / Army of the Tennessee battle flag.
Yeah.
Number two, the real flag, or whichever one you want to consider it, because there was a couple different official and unofficial ones. I direct them to that one. And then I say, well, if you're a supposed nation and you're trying to recognize yourself, don't you want something to be recognized as it? Like, the Union has stars and stripes, while the South has the stars and bars. I mean, honestly, it's like I don't see the racism in it. Like, you walk into a Civil War type town, you see Confederate flags everywhere. No one gives a damn about it.
Yeah.
But you do it anywhere else, it's like, wow, you're a racist, aren't you? And that's another thing. It's like, it's not all about slavery. It's about a Southern cause, and it's to rally underneath it.
Yeah, it wasn't. That's what bugs me. Is like, oh, he has that Southern flag up. That dude's a racist. No, if you were born, down south, if you were born in Louisiana, you're going to have that flag up because you're proud of your heritage. You're proud of your ancestor who may have fought for the South, trying to mold into a way of life that he wanted to live. He wanted to live how he wanted. He could have fought under that flag with dreams shining in his eyes of building the world that him and his brethren could live under in happiness and peace and die a happy old man with no regrets because they formed a new country where they could grow up and raise their kids how they want to raise them, live their life how they want to live.
Yeah.
If that's a sign of racist, if living how you want to live is a sign of racism, I mean you're proud of that heritage, everyone in the US could be dubbed a racist.
Technically, yes, it could.
Because how many times have you heard someone go, I'm proud to be an American, and yet they look at the stars and bars and go, that's racist. Well, if you're proud to be an American, at one point in your history, you could have had an ancestor who was willing to kill someone who stood under that flag for what they believed in.
Exactly.
So alone saying, I'm proud to be an American, then calling someone racist, you're a hypocrite.
That's the other misinformation thing. It's like if you're gonna call, they say like you're gonna call someone out, spend 2 days walking in their shoes first before you say something.
Yeah.
Most people today, they like to point the finger. They want to call them a racist. They want the instant gratification, and they want to leave.
Yeah, they want, like, let's say, just using you and I for an example. Let's say you had tattoo of the stars and bars. I look at you. Oh, you're racist. I want people to go, that guy, he pointed out a racist amongst us. We're not going to look into anything. We don't know if they know each other personally. We just know that, he called him out on his racism. That's good. And that's what they want. They want to be rivaled as, whoa, this guy pointed this out. Hey, I pointed this out. I should be, in the news. I pointed out racism. That's all they want.
Yeah. It's just come on. If you're gonna take the time to do something, research it, or at least quote someone, or get someone who actually knows it. Because I'm sick of stuff like that happening sometimes. Like I'll go to a reenact. I went to a parade down in right outside of New York City in a very, 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 very progressive town. And we walk through town and all of our stuff. And this lady, she comes up to one of the guys that reenact, but she's talking with him for like 10 minutes. And then she walks, she says, I have to go. You have a gun and you'll most likely nuke me. She said those exact words.
Like what?
Exactly.
I know this girl who is under the belief of, oh yeah, Bongo, I'll take a Diet Dr. Pepper if you're asking anybody if they want a soda.
I'll take a Mr. Pibb.
But, like, she's under the belief that all guns should be taken away so that the criminals would have no way of getting them. You think the criminals that are shooting people are getting their guns legally?
They're not.
No. If you're doing that, then you're just taking away a lot of people's ways of defending themselves. Like the elderly. I know so many elderly who have a CCW because they can no longer protect themselves the way they used to. And it just bugs the hell out of me that people think, oh, guns are awful. They're the worst thing ever. Because all they're made for is to kill people. No. Just like a hammer, a gun, this right here. This is a tool. It has no purpose until I give it one. If I want to use it to shoot a hole in a wall, it is now a tool to make holes in walls. If I want to use it as a hammer, it is now a hammer. It is an object that is meaningless until I give it purpose. It has no purpose in life until I give it purpose. It is just a simple tool. The bayonet, like I said, some people use them as candle holders. This originally was made as a tool for war, for defense. And now look how people have gone and recognized it as, hey, that's about the size of my candle. 6 in the ground. It holds my candle. It's now a candle holder. And I tried to tell her this. She goes, no, all schools aren't like AR-15s. They're just made for just shooting up places. No, there are many people who use AR-15s for hunting.
It's getting hard for that too, especially where I live. I mean, the non-theatrical firearms thing I told you about. It's gotten so broad now. It's like you really want to come after me? You really want to do that? I mean, I'm at the point now where basically I'm living in a felony that I didn't sign up for. Basically, my brigade, they actually just bought a bunch of toy muskets for the sake of demonstrations for children. We paid about $50 for each of them. We had to surrender them all to the state, and a $300 fine was for each of them. We bought about 10 of them.
Yeah, that's just stupid. which is
It
I'm
was
thankful to say that at least Ohio, I know the same girl I was talking about. She said Ohio needs stricter gun laws. No, we
come to
need
New Jersey. Come to New Jersey and
what I
try me.
think we need is proper gun instruction. When I was young, I was my dad told me to go get him something from the closet, and I saw the 22 long rifle and his grandfather's double barrel. I was like, Dad, what are these? And he said, well, those are guns. I said, like in TV? And he goes, yeah, except these are the real one. These are real. And I said, can you teach me about them? And he was like, absolutely. And ever since then, it's the appreciation. I know that if I treat this thing wrongly, it could cause someone losing their life. But if I have respect for this tool, for this weapon, whatever I want to use it for, then everything then I'll never use it to do harm unless in self defense. Because I was taught if I'm ever going to point a gun at somebody, then prepare to pull the trigger and do what is necessary. And when I was old
Yeah.
enough, I just entered high school, and I was talking to the man who taught me how to shoot a rifle. Truly, was a Navy SEAL, and he said, "I want you to tell me why you want to learn how to shoot." He goes, "Do you want to learn how to shoot to kill people?" I said, "No, I've always had a fascination with it. There's skill behind it. It's not just picking up a gun, aiming down, and shooting. No, there's skill to it. There's much to learn about it." And he said, "Would you ever kill someone with a gun?" I said, "If I absolutely have to and to protect my family and my loved ones, yeah. But would I walk up to just some random ass person I don't know and shoot them? No, I have no reason to."
I wouldn't even consider that. That's just so stupid.
Yeah,
The one thing too is it's getting hard for us is that we can no longer get muskets. Really, you can't ship them to New Jersey. You can't do private gun sales anymore. That's a felony that goes 35 years in a state penitentiary. No, no trial whatsoever. No bail. No deals. You go right away. They throw away the key. You're done, and you can never get a gun again.
damn.
They're making it so hard now. I can't get gunpowder. I'm literally down to my last I think like 2 pounds of gunpowder. I bought that probably 4 years ago now, and it's so hard now. I'm running out of gunpowder. I can't get caps. Caps are illegal basically now. It's so hard. I'm trying really hard to keep positive. I have to literally what I'm doing. I hate to say this is technically we have to break the law if we want to do what we love. Because
Yeah,
the only guy really who can get this stuff anymore is the basically the people in my organization who are cops. They know all the gun laws. One guy I reenact with, he's actually part of the NJ state legislator. He knows all the loopholes. He is the one who's been fighting the laws. He's been basically trying to stop it, but however, New Jersey's kind of leading the way of no, 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 go away, guns, go, well, bye, bye. And he's like trying to make things a little bit easier, trying to get things. For example, New Jersey about a year and a half ago, they passed a law banning high capacity magazines. Anything that holds over 5 rounds is a high capacity magazine, and they dumbed it down so you can only hold 3 bullets at a time. What had happened was they signed the law through the legislator and the Senate. Governor signed off on it. Sent it to the state police. State police said we can't enforce it, and the law was immediately overturned.
fuck yeah. I mean, when it comes down
doesn't
to
work.
is people are afraid of what they don't understand. Like I was just having a simple talk with someone I know, and she was saying, like the big drug magazines on AR-15s. I don't understand those. And I said, she goes, those I don't think are necessary. I said, have you ever done that? Gone to a gun range with a gun that you were strong and passionate about, and you've had tons of time with, and just shot it? You don't want it's like me and my Mosin. I wish I could have a longer magazine on there. I would love to put more than 5 rounds because it's about the third round I really get back into the motion of firing, and then I only have 2 more rounds to go after that. But if like an AR-15 with a drum mag, you get those necessary rounds to get back in the motion of things, and you have fun. You have a release. You get to some people find target shooting therapeutic, which I know I do. When I go to a gun range, it seems like all stress in my life is just gone, and all I feel is it's just me and my rifle. There is no one else there to bother me. I am alone. It's just me and my own little world.
It's just kind of it's really getting hard, and it's really getting stupid because no one is doing the fact finding. They're going off of what the people want. The people, I should say, the group of people they want. Whoever's lobbying the most, and it's making my life a living hell, to be honest. Because you can now you can basically go to the police and say, I think this person is insane because I saw him cleaning a gun in his backyard and I was afraid he was going to cause harm to me.
Yeah,
And it's so stupid. They passed that right away and it hasn't gone away yet. I'm going to say yet because it's sticking for some reason. And it's stupid because literally you can be brought up on insanity charges and they take everything from you.
yeah, like
I have to be careful now in my backyard cleaning my musket because my neighbors, my family, or anyone around me is allowed to say, "Hey, police, I don't like him. I think he's insane. He's going to kill me. Can you please come commandeer his firearms and all the dangerous things?"
I mean, one of the this is from a personal experience. We used to pull into our driveway, and after an event, and it was usually every time it was a nice day after an event, I would get my cleaning kit. I'd go outside, open the trunk of the car, sit down, and give my carbine and my pistols a nice clean, a nice polish. And these people were walking, and I could tell who, were the people that were like, "All guns are bad," and the people that were like, "Oh, he has a thing for guns. That's all right." The people that were walking by, waving like, "Hey, bud," and stuff. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And this one guy was like, "What you cleaning?" I was like, "Oh, it's just a black powder carbine. I do Civil War reenacting." He came up, was like, "Dude, can I see that? That's cool." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "How does it work?" And I gave him a whole rundown on how it works. And this other person was walking down the sidewalk, saw me cleaning it, and turned around and walked away. I'm just like, I
Stupid,
guarantee you that
honestly.
person's like, "Oh, he's completely crazy. He's going to go into, a huge shooting," which I think is stupid. How the hell can you go into a mass shooting with a single shot weapon?
It doesn't make sense. The only reason I haven't got uh, arrested at this point for any of the things I've told you is because I have a letter from the New Jersey State Police, and I'm on file with them as a registered person who is completely safe and completely allowed to handle a firearm based on New Jersey State standards and the beliefs of my organization. So I'm safe for now, but each and every year it's getting more and more. The noose is getting tighter. The noose is getting tighter. It's getting harder, and it sucks now. It's making my hobby really hard, and I'm just trying to live and have fun. If if you think I'm gonna hurt someone, then please come and talk to me. I'll talk to you, and I'll be like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm
Yeah,
just basically out here. I'm sitting with my rifle. I'm cleaning it, and I'm maintaining it so no one else will get hurt. I'm not. I don't want to hurt anyone. I really don't. Unless they're gonna come and try to hurt me.
yeah,
Um, I'm gonna keep my gun holstered. It's gonna sit and collect dust mainly for a lot of the month, but I'm not gonna do much else with it. It's just gonna sit there. At reenactment, it's gonna sit in a stacked arms formation. During reenactment, it's going to be going fired at a 45-degree angle in the air. It's not gonna hurt anyone. I promise that. And I tell people it's like you think and people have called me this. I reenact this too. They think I'm a fascist because I have a gun, and I don't understand it. I'm just sitting there with my rifle. Maybe I'm cleaning it after a skirmish or a battle, and they're just like, "Oh my God, are you gonna hurt me? Oh my God!" And you're looking at them like, "Yeah, you're going to instantly assume." Thank you.
yeah. I'm lucky in Ohio. A lot of people are still a good. I'm gonna say most of the people are still like at reenactments. They go there. I've only had maybe one or two people in, let's see, 9 years now of reenacting. Look around like I can't believe they have guns. Everybody else is like looking at it in a sense like a musket. They're looking at it like, dude, that's ancient technology. That was some of the cool technology that was used at that time. Whereas other people are like, oh my gosh, what is that? Why would you have that? And then like with a breech load, not a lot of people know about like carbines and such. When they think about the Civil War, they think muskets. It's really cool, when little kids come up and they're like, maybe 8 years old, and they're like, you're talking to them, it's like, do you know how I load this? And they point to the end of the barrel and they go, you pour the stuff down there and you pack it with a stick. And I go, not
Yeah,
with this one.
that's always nice. That's always nice. I have a bunch of wooden dummy rifles. What we sometimes do is I try to run it too. Is I'll put them in a line. And I'll be like, all right, we're going to pretend to load and fire. I'll actually load a round, and they'll be like, I'll be like, all right, pair cartridge, pour your powder, ball, rammer, return rammer, prime, and usually what I'll do is I'll be like, get the shoulder arms or just hold it in front of you, and then I'll be like, ready, aim, and I'll fire with them.
Yeah.
And try to make it interesting. I'm trying to I try to teach that. It's like it's good.
Yeah, and it's amazing because when in school, a very few teachers will actually go into the Civil War, like we said earlier. But when you're and it's like, okay, like they have the clicker and they're pointing up at a screen, like, okay, they use this weapon. Here's
Exactly.
the weight of it, the range of it, and stuff. But then when you go to a reenactment, I could get down on one knee to a kid face to face and be like, okay, so this thing right here is called a hammer. And what they would do is they pull this back, and I can go into the whole shtick, and then like a kid can go, can I try pulling that back? And I'll go, is it okay with your parents? And I'll look up at them and they'll go, yeah, sure. And the kid will come up and they'll try to pull it back and everything. And I'm like, that's hard to do, isn't it? And that's making memories for that kid that they would never get in school.
I met this one kid at a reenactment. He was about 8 years old, and his parents came up to me and they said, he's been studying the Civil War for 3 years now. He really wants to know all he can. But all he really wants to know right now is how do you load a gun, and can we see you shoot it? And I'm like, of course, I'll show you. I went through the procedures. I showed him everything. And I'm like, do you want to put the cap on the cone? And I asked the parents first, and they're like, oh yeah, it's okay. I'm like, just put it in there nice. I'll seat it for you, everything. He puts it on. I'm like, all right, just step back a little bit, fire one off. He's like, oh hell yeah, I like that. He was so cute too. He had like one of those like gift shop keppies on. He was so cute. He's like, I've been studying the Civil War for 3 years now, and like I really want to get into it one day. We gave his parents a card and a brochure. But like, when he gets to like around 14, give us a call. We'll take care of everything else. We'll suit him up and give it a try.
That's one of my favorite things about reenacting is just seeing the kids' faces light up. There was a child walking around, I want to say Ohio Village. He was decked out. I mean, for a kid, he was decked out. He had the belt on. He had a Hardy hat on. He even had an ostrich feather up there. He had a coat. He had pants. He had boots. He had a little sword. He was in full officer kit, like down to the frock coat, down to the canteen even. And as we were on march back from battle, we were all tired. And, the kid could see us. And, like, how you used to do that little slouch, like when after running for a while?
Yeah.
And that kid, and he's looking at us, and we all straightened our back and gave him a salute. And that kid, just the look on his face, he drew his sword and started pointed it forward and started walking next to us.
Oh, that's so cute. I like to see
I'm just like, this kid right here. And he followed us all the way back to camp. He hung out with us. And it's just incredible, especially the older kids, the ones that are like 12 or so. When and I've had one come up and go, can I fire this? I said, what do you think? What do your parents say? And he goes, Mom, Dad, what do you think? And they go, is it safe? I say, yeah, if he follows instruction, yeah, I'll hold the muzzle up so no one gets hurt. And they go, okay. So I put on my gauntlet and I was like, okay, now I'm gonna do it with you. So I like stood behind him, like did the whole like dad and his son, coaxing him like an exoskeleton thing. And of course, closing the breech and everything. I was like, all right, keep your fingers back. And I close it, and the snap, he was like, whoa. And I was like, all right, now rip that. And he did that, and I was like, okay, now we're going to put this cap on here. I handled the most dangerous parts, like putting on the percussion cap and all that. And then I go, okay, ready to fire? I held it away from him. I even put my hand up so he wouldn't catch any of the blast in the face or anything. And I go, all right, now just squeeze the trigger. And he turned around, he's like, don't you mean pull it? I was like, no, you squeeze it. You don't pull the trigger, you squeeze it. And he did, and he made it go off, and he was like, and he said, I want to do that again. I want to be a reenactor.
Oh, I like that. That's nice. That would never fly where I am. I'd probably be put on leave for a while. But the only thing I can do is like I can let you hold it and I can hold the muzzle for you. That's all I can do.
Yeah,
but
it was.
It's nice to see him light up.
It was shortly before the whole committee said that we couldn't do it anymore because I guess
Yeah.
someone was stupid. Like, here you go, kid, have fun with it.
Yeah, I always like when sometimes I'll be sitting out in front of my tent, I'll just be drinking or I'll be eating or I'll be shuffling a deck of cards, and the kids are like, "Can we go in there?" I'm like, "Have at it. Just don't look under the bunk. That's where all the modern stuff is." And they'll go through everything. They'll pick up everything. They'll touch everything. They'll try to light the matches I have on my nightstand. It's always funny, but I like it, honestly. It's so cute to watch them go in there. Sometimes I'll even be sleeping and they'll wake me up like, "Can we come in here?" I'm like, "Yeah, just let me try to rest a little. I'm tired." They'll just come in and be like, "Oh, wow, what's this?" I'm like, "Oh, that's a mini pocket Bible. That's a lantern. That's the 1861 musket. Over there is the drunkard who we have to sign on."
What I love is when kids do that and they just come in. And one kid was astounded. His mind was blown just by one question. I was laying down in my tent and he goes, "Do you sleep in there?" And I was like, "Yeah, yes, I do." And his eyes widened. He was like, "What? Is it comfy?" And I scooted over. I was like, "Lay down and find out." And he turned around, looked at his parents, and his parents were like, "All right." He laid down and he said, he's like, "Wow, this is comfortable." I'm like, "I know, right?" And that right there, it was really cute. Just like because he was really like anxious, like, and he even said like, "I don't think it's that comfortable." I was like, "All right, prove me wrong. Lay down." And he laid down and he was like, "Do you have anything for my head?" And I was like, "There you go. Use this blanket, ball it up around behind your head." And so he laid down in the tent. And I'm just sitting there, and he's like, "Whoa, this is comfortable. I wouldn't mind sleeping in a tent like this." I'm like, "I know, right?"
You were using a cot, right?
No, I was no. This was for my private impression. So I had a ground cloth down uh with a rabbit skin up behind my head and a blanket.
Okay, I get you. I mean, I've seen stuff like that too. I like the way I like is that my first sergeant who I reenact with, he gets way too into reenacting sometimes. It's like you got to pull him out. He's such a people person. He'll talk your ear off for hours, tell you stories you'll never believe, but you'll believe in the end. And he'll walk down the company street and go, "This tent is a private. This tent's a private. This tent is a pioneer. This tent is a lieutenant. This is a corporal. This is this. This is the captain's tent." He'll go into each one. He'll go through each and every detail, and it's just so amazing how many times he does it. He'll explain. He'll do 3 hour long presentations, and he'll go, "So you want me to keep going?" And he'll keep going anyway.
But then you're just grabbing by the soldiers. Snap out of it.
That's what I love about it. We actually have an agreement with a school that each year we do, and we go there. We teach impressions from all sides of history, no matter what. Confederate, Union, civilians, hospital, United States colored troops. We teach every perspective in a timed like 30-minute zone for a whole day.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like the kids always love it. They're like elementary school kids, like K through 5, and they love it every year. And it's so great to see them.
One of the greatest memories I have reenacting was at the Dayton VA. And you know how they have the retirement home right there for veterans. Well, we all got geared up, and some of the ladies got out there nicest ball gowns, and we went into each. We had Civil War, World War I, World War II, Vietnam, all the way up basically to modern day. And we went in and we talked to each one of those veterans, and it was cool because veterans walked in and they're like, just a surprise on their face. They're like, "You guys look really cool." Then of course once the ladies walked in, they immediately went, "Y'all, you boys can leave now." Looking at the ladies, and we're all just like, "Yeah, don't blame you."
No,
But
that's the way it goes.
But being able to just shake the hands of those veterans, because at the Dayton VA, my grandfather was the first lifelong member. No, that was the veteran of foreign wars. My mistake. But they did a lot for him. He was out there for a while, and I really want to give back to him, and it's really cool out there because they have motorcycle setups, they have tent setups. It's it's one of those things you can't even put into words.
It's real nice. Yeah, I mean, what we're trying to do now is we're actually shifting away just from Civil War, but we are creating what we call our timeline impressions from uh, any pretty much turn of the century wars until about Vietnam. We even include a couple like early 2000s type reenacting, and we just kind of keep going with it. We don't want just like one aspect, we want all aspects, but Civil War is very important to us.
Yeah. Like everyone who reenacts a certain part in history has a call to that. Like they feel a special connection to it. Like I don't think I would be a good Revolutionary War reenactor. I don't think I would do good with World War II or World War One. It's just Civil War is where I belong in reenacting. That's where I need to be.
Yeah, I think I've told this story before, but this is from someone I reenact with. Who's been reenacting for about 20 plus years now, and he said he was at our annual training camp back in like 2004, and he said this man with a dog came up to him and talked with him, and he said, oh, this is really cool and all that. And he's like, so why do you do this? And he says to him, because we really have an interest in the hobby. It's really fun. We really like it. And the guy's like, it's not actually. The reason you're doing this is because in a past life you were once a Union soldier. All of you were, and by reenacting together, you are immortalizing the unit that you are in. And basically, you are trying to relive that memory because it is the familiarity and normalcy that you really.
No, you're starting to cut.
The guy who was listening to him, he turns around for a sec, looks around, he's like, and he's like, who are you talking to? He's like, that guy right there with the dog. He's like, there's no guy there with, like, he vanished like a ghost. Like, he was never there. Like a ghost from the Civil War telling him. It was amazing.
You're beginning to cut in and out.
Sorry, how much of that did you miss?
I got a good majority of it, but it was just like the when you talk about when you were saying he's right there, the man with the dog, and then that's when it started cutting.
Basically, it was like there's no one there, and like he vanished like a ghost.
That's a cool. We so one of the events we do is Caesars Creek Pioneer Village.
I think I've heard of that, yeah.
And all the buildings there have been moved, but they're all historic. All of them are over 200 years old, and there are still people that live in them and keep them in good shape. Well, the church one night, you all know Josh. He comes into the chat often. He's with the 48th OVI, and he him and a couple buddies were in the church, and it's known for being haunted. They were doing ghost hunting. Well,
forget that. I don't do ghosts. I'm sorry.
No. General Couts and a couple members of the 4th went up and smacked on the windows. They all turned around with their flashlights. They hid. And I did again. They come running out. One kid falls flat on his face and gets up like scrambling and just starts bolting.
I will admit I've done stuff like that. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of funny. But honestly, I don't mess with ghosts. Sorry, I'm gonna say that. Unfortunately, half the people I know, they mess with ghosts, and they'll literally wake up in the middle of the night and they'll be like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, the ghost is right there." I'm like, "Oh, for the love of God, please go back to sleep. You're just scaring the shit out."
Yeah,
I hate it. Especially my first sergeant. He talks to ghosts. I swear to you, he talks to ghosts. He had a ghost growing up with that literally he played with every day for 13 years. And he didn't know its name until the very last day he moved out. It's so terrifying. He once had a ghost try to kill him in his sleep. I swear to you. He's like my daughter, she threw it into the light and killed it. And it's so terrifying. He tells these amazing stories that will, like, literally, even if you're not a believer, you'll be like, "Holy fuck, I'm not sleeping tonight."
So I have a bit of a sort of like a ghost story, more like a guardian angel story.
Okay.
This lady, she was talking about when she was younger. Every time she would go to bed, there was like this medieval knight who had a great sword, and he would stand, just like this with his sword at her doorway. And every time she would sit up, I'm getting chills just talking about it. Every time like
Me
she would
too.
sit up, he would walk over, sit on the edge of her bed, like, "What do you need? Are you okay?" Like a caring father. When she would lay back down, he would get up, walk over to the door, and resume his post. Well, she talked to her mom about it, and and her mom goes, "If you don't like it, tell him to go away." And she goes, "Okay, I will." Well, then nighttime came, and she sat up, and the knight walked over to her, and she goes, "Can you go away? I don't like you being here." And he stopped, and he looked, and she said that he like looked away, like he was contemplating something, and then he bowed his head to her, and stood up, and just disappeared. Well, she slept soundly that night. Then she goes to sleep the next night, and she noticed this black mass started growing around her room, slowly over the next few nights. Well, one day when she said that she started hearing weird voices, and she noticed that the black mass had almost swallowed her whole room, and she was like hiding under her cover. She was scared. All of a sudden, the room started getting like a light glow around it, and she removed her covers and she looked, and the knight was back at his post, standing there, and he turned around like he just was standing there, and he just glanced over to her, nodded, and then looked, and then went back to standing guard at the door.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories like that. I mean, honestly, I hate them because when I'm sleeping out, I don't want to freaking hear them, and I'm not going to sleep a lot. The thing is, though, is I always hear them. I hate them. Just stuff like that. There's like the one guy reenacted. He's like, I've seen these dark images. They've tried to kill me on more than one occasion, and he said the only way to get them is to either have someone protecting you, or you need to trick them into the light and let them pass. And it's absolutely terrifying. I hate it so much, but it's so interesting to me. He'll even say, he's like, oh, he's in his house sometimes, and just go, hey, what's up? I'm like, oh, I'm doing fine. He's like, oh no, I was talking to my cat. It's been dead for 15 years. I'm like, I don't see a cat. He's like, yeah, it's right there. I'm like, there's nothing there. There's a cat right there. I'm like, oh my god, not again.
I've ran into a few occasions with ghosts. Very few times have I like felt a burning sensation on my arm, but then I turned to my religion. And those have been some of the coolest moments. Like this one I'm not afraid to tell. I'm a Christian, I believe in God. And one night I was in the kitchen and it was late night, I was just getting a late night snack. And we had heard some weird things happening, and one night I just felt like it was like an Indian burn on my arm, And I turned around and with a stern voice I said, "You're not welcome here. This house is protected by God and his servants and his angels." And I went on like this whole spiel, well, not even spiel, like this whole sermon basically about why this spirit isn't welcome here and how we are protected. And my arm stopped burning, and I just had this feeling of protection that was right behind me. And ever since then, we haven't had much issues.
So you still have issues, but they're kind of on the lowdown.
Yes, I feel like if there were multiple spirits, I might have caused one of them to go away.
That's one of the reasons why I don't go to Gettysburg. I will not be able to face any of those spirits with the utmost courage I could. Besides besides that fact, there's some very, if you've ever been on those ghost tours, I mean, some of them are like they're scans, but some of them are like real as all hell. And honestly, it's terrifying. You ever walk around on a battlefield at the middle of night and just be like, "What's that guy doing there?" And then all of a sudden he looks at you and disappears into nothingness. It's so scary, to be honest.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's one thing. The National Park Service refuses to recognize the existence of ghosts on Gettysburg military battlefield. There were these diplomats, like it was like a UN type thing, a bunch of diplomats who came to Gettysburg, and they said they were in an open field and they saw soldiers, Civil War reenactors, doing a bayonet drill with each other. And they get back to the visitor center in Gettysburg and they talk to the head of the National Park Service, and they're like, "Wow, that was a really cool demonstration you set up for me." It's like, "Oh, what demonstration?" It's like, "Oh, the reenactors out there in the field." They're like, "There's no reenactors out here today. It's the middle of November. There's really no reenactors here until the end of the month." And they're like, "Really?" Because we saw them
I'm taking
beating each
your
other to
advice.
death with clubs and bayonets. And the National Park Service, one of them went back to the place where they said they saw it, and there was nothing there. They were like, "Yeah, there's nothing here." They were like, "What happened? Was that a ghost?" Like, well, there's no ghosts here. We're not allowed to recognize them.
Also, that right there, we're not allowed to recognize the ghosts.
They're not allowed to. They have to say that every time. Like, do you recognize ghosts? And it's like, no, we're not allowed to. There's such sketchy things in that damn town. Honestly, I want to stay in the town, but I'm more afraid of hearing stuff. There's one hotel on the main square. You can hear the sounds of battle at night for some reason. People have said that.
There was last year at the Battle of Richmond in Richmond, Kentucky. People were still awake around the campfire talking. I decided to head off to bed, and I'm sitting there, I'm laying down, and all of a sudden I hear gunshots, like musket fire. And we were at the actual, holy ground of the Battle of Richmond. And I get up, I grab my carbine, and I put my belt on and my sack coat and everything. I'm like, oh, so we're having a night battle. Awesome. I bust out my tent, and everybody's sitting there like, what are you doing? I was like, you guys didn't hear that? They go, what? I was like, I just heard musket fire and artillery fire. He said, no one's doing that. I was like, I could have swore I just did. And as I was like taking my stuff off, I look out, and there was like this lone soldier with his bayonet fixed, standing on a hill, standing there almost like he was on sentry duty. And I'm just like, huh. Okay.
That's just terrifying. I mean, I've never had an experience like that yet, but I know if I do, I'm going to be like, well, I'm going to go back in my tent, and I'm going to hide for a couple hours until the daylight comes, and I'm never coming out.
The next thing you know, the ghost hops in your tent. All right, Matt, your turn for guard duty, bud.
No. Actually, if I could, real sec. Bryce, this one comment here. Yes, I have heard of that. There are actually more than one. They said you actually take something from Gettysburg. It is actually a condemnation from the spirits because they don't want anything to be taken away. They want everything to be kept there. Stones, sticks. Really, the only thing they permit you to take is pictures. Besides the fact that it's extremely illegal to take anything off of National Park Service land without prior approval, it is a condemnation. I heard about that guy actually. Yeah, he saw a man in gray in his kitchen. Another guy, he actually served 25 years in a federal penitentiary after he had it. When he returned the stones, he actually got out. He was actually able to get out. You really should not take anything from any battlefield because everything, spirits can inherit anything around them.
Yeah.
Despite what you may think, they can inherit anything and they can go anywhere.
Yeah.
They just need a place to. They just need a parent. They just need a parent for it to carry. And honestly, it's like just basically you take a picture and there's a ghost in it. Get rid of that picture because it might come for you again. It's scary as fuck, man.
All they need is something to connect themselves to. It could have been that rock. Could have been, that Confederate soldier died, and he could have been, trying to crawl, and the last thing he grabbed was that rock. Over a piece of land, and that was his connection to it. He died holding that. That's all it takes.
It's absolutely terrifying, and I hate it sometimes. I don't do spirits. I think it's interesting hearing the stories. The problem is, though, if I went face to face with one, I'd be like, you could just kill me now because there's no way I'm living this down.
I heard this one story. This guy who portrayed a captain like me, well, infantry captain, and he was at Gettysburg, and this ghost, and he said he saw this ghost, and he was like, and the ghost was like standing on sentry, and he saluted him, and the ghost started following him, and he said, so I decided to do, because he said, I'm guessing he saw me as his captain. That is why he saluted me and started following me. So he said, I did what a good captain would do when he doesn't want to be followed. He said he turned around and said, soldier, return to your post and stay there until you're relieved. He said the soldier saluted and turned around and just vanished.
I hate that shit.
I just like the idea that this dude pulled rank on a ghost.
That's that's pretty substantial. If I was to do that, I would rather be a higher ranking officer. So I could be like, yeah, go over there, please, and please disappear, and please get out of my mind. I'd probably do something like that.
But there's been also some stories like this guy he said he received visions from a ghost who was an artillery soldier for the Confederacy, I think it was,
Uh huh.
who died at Gettysburg having a bayonet run through his belly. And so he
Ouch.
said, as he was receiving these visions, he remembers, feeling the heat of the cannon that's loading it. And then he said he could feel that bayonet going into his belly. And he said that his friend who was there with him, because he didn't want to go there alone, said at one point he grabbed his stomach and started screaming. And he was trying to what do you need? What do you need? When he would come to, he stopped screaming. He was like, dude, you were just screaming holding your stomach. What happened? And he was looking around like in a panic, like he was still in the heat of battle. And when he was talking about it, he said he felt what that soldier felt, his emotions, he knew his thoughts. He was like one on one with that soldier. They became one. Now, from a reenactor point of view, that would be awesome to actually see an actual soldier's point of view, his emotions, his thoughts. But at the same time, as I came to, I would be walking with a buttload of poo poo and new yellow pants and underwear.
Yeah. That it's honestly it's terrifying. I haven't experienced it yet.
Oh, did you see what Bryce just typed? Imagine if you heard the rebel yell.
No.
It would be a bunch of ghosts.
I will gladly lay my life down on the. I'll gladly stand in front of a firing squad and be like, please do it now. Sorry, I won't. I will not. I don't.
Archer, I know what videos I'm looking up before going to bed. Civil War ghost stories, yay.
Archer, if you don't want to sleep, please don't.
But I understand. I understand having a fear of the paranormal because it is definitely something that we don't have a grasp of. We make speculations, but we don't have a hold of it.
I'm honestly right now, like looking behind me, I'm like, oh my god, it's something's gonna sneak up on me. I know it.
Boo. Oh no, I made him cry. Damn it. I did actually make a kid cry once, though.
I made a whole entire Girl Scout troop cry.
At a reenactment. Mine was about animals, basically. I was laid in my tent. I'll admit I was a little irritated because we were told we were allowed to go fight in the woods. And when we started, it was Union and the Confederacy, going at it. It was basically a tactical. We were doing what we wanted to do. It was amazing. It was fun. We were yelling shit back and forth. And I'm pretty sure the people in the town were just hearing, all these gunshots from the woods. And so then this guy comes up and goes, you can't do that. You can't do that. You're not allowed. Well, the one reason we agreed to come here was we were told, dude, you guys can have a tactical in the woods and fight in there and fire in there. And we're just like, fuck yeah. The hell yeah. And so I'm like irritated. I'm hot. I'm laying down. So I'll admit I was a little on edge. And this kid come over and he was just asking like the real, only at that time I would consider annoying questions. Other times I would just answer them like every other question. Like he was asking, do you sleep in there? Yes. What if it rains? I'll stay dry. What if you get cold? I'll put on another blanket. What if your feet get cold? I'll wrap them up. It was about 15 minutes of those questions. And finally,
questions. I love those.
And well, I usually do too, except when I'm irritated like that. Because, breaking a promise to a reenactor about how we're going to be able to fight the battle and do tacticals and stuff. And that being one of the grounds on why we came. That's just, come on. But, and the kid goes, what if an animal comes in here? I go, I'll be fine. He goes, what if it tries to attack you? I said, I have a knife. And he goes, well, then what happens? I looked at him and I said, then I get a new hat. And he goes,
at one parade I had in the heat of July, 4th of July parade. What we would do is we would walk, and then we would fire a volley. And but there was this Girl Scout troops, like girls no older than probably 11, probably. They're just standing there handing out cups of water to the street people. We get up to our point. Our captain goes, ready, and fire. Every single one of them were holding 2 cups. They all jumped, all got soaking wet, and all started crying.
Was it a hot day?
And to this day, we pass by and they're like, "Oh, they're there, please, wait, ready, bang." I felt bad at first. Now this time I'm like, we're going to get him this year. We're going to get him. We're going to get him. We're going to get him.
We actually had one person complain about how loud a reenactment was.
I had a Celtic reenactor complain one time.
They said that the cannons were too loud.
She said that it was altering the zone around her aura.
But I mean, the fact that she said the cannons were too loud. They're a fucking cannon.
That sounds about right.
What'd you expect? A damn cap gun from the Dollar Tree?
I hate people like that. It's like, oh, it's not supposed to be that loud. It's not supposed to be that loud. We fired off a cannon before that. And they were like, you have to tell us from now on. We don't want to spook our customers. Shit. I'm like, okay. We give warnings for, when we would volley fire and we would fire the cannon. But they were still pretty pissed at us. And I'm like, it's going to happen. So deal with it.
Yeah. I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to go get some refreshments and drain the old lizard.
I will handle the stream for you.
Thank you. Keep telling more ghost stories. They love that shit.
Okay, boys, I got a good one for you at the Battle of Gettysburg. There was this guy. He was calling his wife on a payphone during the reenactment of the Battle of Gettysburg. This was back in like the 1990s, and he said while he was calling her, it was in the field. So he was just calling her, and he sees a guy outside looking at him. He's like, oh, he probably wants to use the payphone as well. And so he's like, oh, yeah, he's just calling her. He's talking to her, and he's just like looking at this guy who is looking right at him intently with like murder in his eyes. He was dressed as a Union soldier. He was a Confederate soldier. He just looked at him, kept looking at him, kept looking at him, kept looking at him. And then out of nowhere, he just vanishes. He just vanishes into nothingness. And so basically, the guy says, honey, I'm going to be home in the morning. I just saw something that made me shit my pants. Good night. And he ran back to camp, and it was the funniest shit ever. Later, clone. British ghosts, no, they're too cheeky. I don't mess with ghosts. I'm going to say that. I don't do that. I'll do anything else, but I don't fuck with ghosts. Oh, clone, that's just bad. Sometimes I feel like someone might murder me. The other times I feel like there's a fox who wants my food.
Good morning, Vietnam! Okay.
Oh, it's a doggo.
I have Jitterbug. He's the annoying little shit. Hi, Jitters. Let's turn you around, eh?
I took care of them, Brad. I told them a ghost story about Gettysburg, and quite frankly, I'm scared now.
It's okay. Jitterbug got your back.
Hi, Jitterbug.
You're not going to growl at me this stream, are you? He has this thing where he likes to just sit there and growl at me.
Would you like some hardtack?
He doesn't. No, I don't know if you can see his lack of teeth.
I know.
No, his lack of teeth. He's a Chihuahua, anyways. They have bad teeth. Hey, good boy. What?
Nice doggo.
What?
Woof, 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 woof.
Get it. Get it.
Jitterbug, if a spirit comes to get you, just remember, don't eat red.
He likes to bite people. Like my sister.
Brett, have you heard the statistic that if you have a cat or a dog in your house, the cat is more likely to eat you than the dog?
Yes. Hold on, let me see if I can get him to his growl. Such a good boy. You see his lip? Such a good boy.
I thought.
Oh, such a good boy. Such a good boy. He has this thing, me and him, he loves me, but he just likes to growl at me. I have 3 dogs.
Archer, why must you torture me?
Andrew, but get up close and personal with the camera.
Woof.
All right, I'm done torturing you, Jitterbug. Yeah, there he goes. Yeah, but the door's shut. What are you gonna do now?
He looked like he was gonna murder you.
He stopped wagging his tail and sat down like, well, shit. Jitterbug, would you like out? Yeah? Outside? Oh, wait. You want out, Jitterbug? You want outside? You gotta dance. Jitterbug, you want outside? He knows I did something. You want outside? You want outside, Jitterbug? Jitterbug, come here. Come here, Jitterbug. Come here. You want outside? You want outside? He's too stupid.
Oh, poor Duggo.
He's a little retarded.
It's okay. I have a 14-year-old purebred beagle. He's stubborn as a mule.
My dog, we used to have 4. My dog, I kind of inherited her from my brother-in-law. She was a little Chihuahua. Her name was Bubbles. One of her favorite things to do. She was a little white and tan Chihuahua. One of her favorite things to do was wait for me to get home from work, and she would sit down in the middle of the floor, and she would wait for me to put my bag down, lay down on the floor, and wait for me to go like that with my arm. And she'd come over in the pit in my armpit and just sit there, put her paws up there, and just stare at me, just ever so calmly. And then she died on my birthday. So, yeah.
Sorry.
She had a lot of health issues. She ended up having like 3 seizures the day before. She was real old.
Archer, come on, man. You can't say
My
that.
grandfather lived on a
You're
couple
gonna ruin
acres
it.
in Oregon in a house he built with no neighbors for miles. My mom remained sleeping in their camper one night with my grandparents. She said something screamed and shook the trailer. When my grandpa went out to see what it was, nothing was there. Ooh! They think it was
Archer,
Bigfoot.
you can't do that to me. I love camping. You're gonna ruin it.
I think it was Bigfoot, man. Just kill Bigfoot.
I can't.
Hey, just as General Jackson said, give him the bayonet. You stab Bigfoot, turns out he's just a... No, just think about it this way. You stab Bigfoot, and it turns out he's just a really nice guy. He just has a hard time making friends. How nice? Like, you legit, like, you don't hurt him, but it's like enough, like, your friend poking you with a pen. But, like, he's just having a hard time making friends, and, like, he starts crying. Like, you really hurt his feelings.
I don't know, because can he talk, or is he just like a ooh?
No, he can. He can fully talk, but he just has a hard time expressing himself. You know, he just has a hard time making friends.
Does he have, like, an English accent?
No.
Then I don't want to talk to him.
What if he sounded like he was from New Jersey?
He sounds something like
the stereotype New Jersey accent.
You know, you could really not be. You could really just be nice about it. You couldn't be a dick about it. How about you go fuck yourself. Go to New York. Go see the Mets play. Get yourself pizza. Drink some water. Go to bed.
Yeah.
Basically like that.
Matt, I've stayed at the same property, and no lie, it's like the perfect situation for a horror story. The days were fun, but boy, at night it was terrifying.
Well, Archer, those are new ghosts. Out here in New Jersey, we have old ghosts that are willing to terrify you for years.
You got the ghosts that are bored of the same old thing. They're like, boys, it's time to step up. Let's start following people.
No, let's just possess people and try to kill them. I don't mess with ghosts. Simple as that. If a ghost decides to take over my house, I will say, "Hey, bank, you can do whatever you want with my mortgage. Just let me leave. I'm not messing with."
So I have a question for you.
What's up?
Would you be interested in joining the podcast tomorrow with Brandon F?
Yeah, sure. Just if you could add me on Discord, that would be nice.
Oh yeah, I think yeah. I already got you on Discord. I think you're part of the my server, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm on there. Private Digger 154.
Yep. Guess what? Welcome to the
What?
Pod Boys.
Cool.
Yeah. Let's see here. 95th
Oh, by the
birthday.
way, Bongo says hi.
Hi, Bongo. Bill, I just messaged you about that on Discord. Yes, Brandon F will be joining us for about 30 minutes or so. Yes. And the main goal about with Brandon F is talking about the similarities of the Revolutionary War and the Civil War. I want to ask him what it's like using like the grandfather equipment to stuff like this or the socket bayonet because they had like the Gen 1 socket bayonets.
I do like the bayonets that they have. Like socket bayonets are nice. I will admit I've done bayonet drill a lot, and I will say it's very uncomfortable sometimes, and the bayonet does get stuck pretty easily. I will say though, if you know what you're doing, it can be really cool. I have studied McClellan's School of the Bayonet. I really like it. I think it's really good. I know some of like the extra stuff, like the French, Mexican empires type stuff. It's really interesting.
Yeah. What I find interesting is when games have bayonets, but they don't use them as bayonets.
Like the History Channel Civil War games.
Yes. Like when you... Oh, hold on. I got to do the motion because I remember the motion perfectly of how they used the bayonet in the history in the Civil War games.
All right, let's see.
I remember... Get out of here, Mr. Chair. You're not needed for the time. I remember, they did the standard, the stab, but then one of them was just...
That's parrying. That's parrying.
But you weren't. But they didn't have a parry. They didn't have a parry system in the game.
Yeah, they did. No, there's a 4 parrying system.
Yeah, but their whole system for stabbing was this, or... I mean, I can understand if they had like a parry system, but that was one of their attack ways. No, all you're going to do there is just grab a piece of their clothing and just jerk them around.
Yeah. It's interesting because I really would like War of Rights is very similar, but it's like very delayed. I would like to see like more faster action, or even like you could handle it more depth. Because besides thrusting, you could do lunges, you could do stock to the shoulder strike. You could do coup de melee. Even coup de melee is awesome as fuck.
There are many martial arts that can be involved with a 1860s musket with the bayonet attached.
I will say one of the most fun things to do is to form square with bayonet. That is like, it's really hard to do sometimes, but to be honest, it's so fun because you're running around like a spider.
So did I mention earlier that the bayonet was considered a sidearm?
Yes, you did.
Yes, which I found that very interesting.
One thing I always thought was very interesting too is that they only did the socket bayonets really, but if you jump over to Europe at the time in the Second Schleswig War, they had both socket bayonets and sword bayonets for their rifles.
Yeah, the Enfield had a sword bayonet.
Yeah,
they had
I wanted to get an Enfield bayonet, but unfortunately my organization outlawed them.
The Enfield had a recurved sword bayonet, if I do recall correctly.
Yes, very nice. That's the kind of bayonet I don't use as a back scratcher.
Man, this back scratcher is fucking painful. Dude, someone bled on this.
You turn around, it's like, oh, my back is bleeding.
Then you pull back. Oh, who the hell bled on this?
Yeah. I always do love those like Civil War stuff you never see. There's one guy I reenact with. Like I don't know where he finds this stuff, but it's like amazing. He has this one musket. It's called an Allegheny Arsenal musket. It's one of like 5 left in existence. It was burned in the arsenal at the time the Confederates were raiding it, and it's like one of 5 left. It's so cool. It has the bayonet and everything on it. It's the stock is black from the burning, but it's survived intact. And another one he has, it's a Navy rifle. It fires a bullet, a Manet ball, that's the size of a shotgun slug. It can shoot like 4,000 yards.
Jesus.
There's one rifle, I don't remember the term for it. It's a Prussian or Austrian rifle. It's really interesting. What you do is you pop the breech, you put a bullet in, close the breech, open the breech again, put another bullet in, close it, open the bottom, put the cap on, close it, fired. The first bullet is the bullet you fired. The second bullet acts as a stopper. After that, you fired the first bullet. The second bullet is now the active bullet. It was a bolt action plus lever action gun. It was amazing.
That's cool.
It's so cool, and it takes like, it's a literal gun that takes 15 minutes to reload. And he's like, I saw this one guy who had one. He loaded in like 10 seconds.
That's what I think is cool. Is, the more that we actually look into history, the more we realize we don't know shit. And to think about other guns of other countries at the time, I mean, true, the Henry Repeater was around before the Civil War, and so was the Spencer and all that. But to hear about basically a trapdoor lever action, bolt action hybrid thing that also used caps, that is cool.
It's really, if I can get a picture, I'll send it to you on Discord. I think you'll like it.
Please do. I mean, also, those are some, like your buddy who has that musket. Those are some of the parts of history that are dying.
It's all the same guy. There's literally 2 guys in the organization.
Really?
One does the rifles. The other does pistols. The one guy with the pistols, he did a count. Before he had to sell a majority of them, he counted, and this is an exact number, I kid you not, 936 Civil War revolvers.
All different.
12 of them were Lamets.
Oh, I thought you were about to say all different. I was like, Jesus. So
no, a lot of them are different. Some of them are collectors, some of them are repros, but 936. He recently sold a lot of them though because he broke his hip and needed money.
Shemley, what if the South managed to get a big enough army to invade Ohio and maybe take all of it? They could not handle our corn raiding. They do not know how to plant corn like Ohioans do.
Open fields.
No, it's much more than that.
I hope so.
It is.
They could have taken New Jersey easily. Trust me. Literally, the people would have been like, "Okay, cool."
Where are your new rulers? Cool beans, bro.
They would have liked it. They'd be like, "Oh, cool. We're gonna finally be happy, and things will be unified under you." Plus, then they would have had a large supply base. Yeah,
dude, I swear
I found this interesting book about this guy from my town. He fought in the Civil War, and he got up to the rank of lieutenant throughout the war. He had a brother who lived in Virginia, and he was with the Orange County Rangers. He was a captain, and they fought against each other, not knowing so on numerous occasions. Both of them survived the war, and both of them lived well into the 1900s. Very interesting, and very interesting. You read it. He's like, he joined in the Union guy. He joined in like April 1862, and he was there until like March 1865. At first, he was like, "This is nothing. This sucks. I get to do nothing." He starts out at Antietam. He really didn't see much action. He's like, "This sucks." He goes to Fredericksburg. He's like, it's okay. He got in a little fighting, saw some people I know. He goes to Chancellorsville. He's like, "Oh, they really, really had us. They were really, really tough." And go to Gettysburg. He's like, "The Confederates are shooting behind our lines. They could have won the first day if they just shot right at us instead of over us." go to Wilderness Campaign. He's like, oh my ever-loving God, get me the hell out of here.
Damn.
Today, that's actually today. Today's the Battle of the Wilderness.
It is.
And then this Friday is Spotsylvania, end of the month, Cold Harbor. It's the Wilderness Campaign.
I thought the Battle of the Wilderness took place in October.
I think there was a couple of them. Or you might be thinking of Chattanooga.
No, because Wildcat in Kentucky, the Battle of the Wilderness takes place at the end of October.
There might have been a second one. I got a calendar from the American Battlefield Trust, and they say it's today.
They may. I don't. That might just be a reenactment of it.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Well, they had with everything the way it's named. Like the first Battle of Bull Run has like 7 different names, and then yada yada yada. And
Let me look it up real quick. Hold up.
all right. Let's see. Who has a Civil War Enfield in chat? So I want to know if an Enfield bayonet scabbard will hold mine for my Springfield.
Right here, May 5th to May 7th, 1864.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember. I read in the book. He said in the Battle of Wilderness, he's like, I cannot believe how close these trees were, and I cannot believe how close the Confederates were to us. He was like, I was riding towards a unit I thought was mine. I was 15 feet away from the Confederates. I turned around, ran 30 feet, and I was back at my lines.
Damn. That would be terrifying as shit.
And he went to Spotsylvania. He's like, it's awful. He charged the angle. He's like, absolutely terrifying. I hated every minute of it. You get to Cold Harbor. He's like, it's amazing how you can kill 8,000 people in 20 minutes.
Jesus. I need to really read those letters I have from a Union soldier.
I really like it because the guy who wrote it, literally, he was a journalist. He kept all of his letters. He kept all his journal entries. He's halfway through the war, like 2 years into the war. He's like, he sat home. He's like, I need another journal. I'm writing too much.
Damn. Yeah,
and also, there's a funny story I got to tell you about in it. There was this one lady in Virginia. Her name, and I kid you not, was Dizzy Miss Lizzie. She was the only person in all of Virginia who was able to get past Confederate lines, the Union naval blockade, and Union lines on numerous occasions. In total, she crossed this about 37 times.
Damn!
She had to get to D.C. to get the most recent fashion, had to get all the stuff she wanted. She did it so many times. On one occasion, the brother who was a Confederate asked her to smuggle her daughters through the lines, through Washington, D.C., and all the way to New Jersey to stay with his father, who was on the Union side at that time. She did it successfully, and it was amazing. We crossed. They don't give details how they did it, but they were like, they got there. They got there well within about 2 weeks.
I love how the main goal of her running through the lines was a new dress that just got made.
Her name was Dizzy Miss Lizzie. People said she was nuts, but she was rich as can be.
Oh.
She didn't have a husband. She was just rich. That's the one thing. It's like, where'd you get this money from? She wasn't a slaveholder. She wasn't anything. She was just inherently wealthy, I guess.
Towards the end of the Battle of Orthez Alva, Wellington's aide, and Wellington, after teasing the Spanish, was hit in the sword hilt and got a bruised hip for that teasing. A Native American went up a tree and shot down a red marksman who was making a nuisance. Wait, what? Talking about Wellington and then Native Americans.
Hey, Red, I gotta go real quick. My dog has to go to the bathroom, so I'll be back in like 2-3 minutes.
All right. Hey, take care of that puppers.
Sure thing. 1 sec.
No, what do you mean by that, man? Like, you got me confused up with the... Uh-oh, boys. You know what time it is. Bayonet. Could you imagine being a reenactor with the 20th Maine at the Battle of Gettysburg and then not being able to fix a bayonet? Think about that. You historians out there know what I mean. Ooh, look how pretty my eyes look. Shemley, let's read it. Oh, I cannot wait to use this in an event. Damn, Jackson did that? Shit. So, Noah, Napoleon, you do a bit about the Napoleonic Wars, right? About like Wellington and everything. Archer, I am part of the 4th Ohio Volunteer Cavalry. So, just about everywhere I go, there's Cav. We have been bringing back. We've been told that we're bringing back the Cav image to Ohio. That there's been a spike of Cav units. Oh shit! It is 12. Wow! It is that time, boys. All right, I'm gonna wait for Matt to get back and then explain to him this situation. Damn, Shemley. So why is it was Sir Arthur Wellesley, but then he turned into Lord Wellington? Answer me that. Yes, he was, Noah. Yes, he was. Ooh, Shemley, nice one, buddy. Nice one.
All right, Red, I'm back.
I was waiting for you to come back because, unfortunately, because of the time, I gotta call it because work and shit, adulting
Yeah,
and all that
I got you.
nonsense. Dude,
I gotta head to bed. I have school in like 3 hours.
dude, fucking adulting and schooling sucks.
Yeah, it's fun. I just got my college stuff today. I owe $3,000.
Yeah, I saw you post that in Cody's stream.
Yeah, I have until August to pay though, and I still have yet to get my financial aid, so I'm hopeful.
That financial aid is probably going to take care of a lot of it.
Plus, I got reenactor scholarship, so I'm pretty much set.
Oh shit! Yeah, you are.
Oh,
But I want you to be present for this. There are a few channels I want to shout out. General Cody HD, Calibrated Core, Brendan F, Civil War Digital Digest, Company D, Sega United States Sharpshooters, the Townsends, and a very special Sutler I want to shout out. CNC Sutler, whom of which I just placed another very big order for a buddy of mine, and another man we were getting into reenacting. Hopefully he'll stay with us. We can use more people on the staff. If you'd like to volunteer for a position, maybe. Boys, don't forget to share this stream with your friends. Share this channel with your friends if you think they have any interest in history whatsoever. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and comment button, which is now a thing. I just invented it. I'm
revolutionary.
Yes, I'm that good. See you boys later.